Welcome to another edition of Banter and Babble. I am the Dude79, and joining me always, my esteemed colleague, Mr. Fanboytone. Mr. Fanboytone, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm all right, a little tired, but I'm doing well. Very well, actually.
What are you tired from?
I probably shouldn't have drank those beers at 11:30 last night.
You were getting shit-faced last night, weren't you?
I wasn't getting shit-faced, but I was having a little sippy sip.
You're a fucking scumbag. Thanks, Forge Hammer. Appreciate that, buddy.
4 months.
Oh, man, 4 months? What a stud. Thanks, Forge. But here we are. Now this, Tone, it's February 3rd.
Yeah.
And this is the first edition of Banter Babble of the weekly format.
Oh!
No longer.
That I'm already fucking up because of work this month.
No, right, thanks, buddy. Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
No longer are we a bi-weekly podcast talk show.
No.
We are a weekly talk show.
Weekly.
Until February 17th because Tone fucked it up and he can't be here, so we won't have a show, but we will do a B&B Plays. But we do have something planned for that weekend before to kind of make up for something because there's obviously a big movie dropping next week that we're really excited about, and we feel we need to talk about it before the February 24th show.
Have to.
So we have to get that in. We have to talk about, which obviously is Willy's Wonderland, or is it Wally's Wonderland? I think it's Wally's Wonderland.
I'm not going to tell you. What is it?
I like Willy's Wonderland. Fanboy puts
sure
the buy in
do.
bi-weekly. He sure does, Cap. He sure does. I have to fight him off with a stick every time we do a show. But here we are, our first episode as a weekly talk show. Really excited about. El Blanco's in here. Cappadocia's in here. Prime Didac's in here. King Cuddles is in here. Of course, he's in here. And it's Nick Cage being awesome. I mean, that's all Nick Cage really is awesome. We got something else to talk about Nick Cage tonight, too, that we're pretty hyped about.
Yep.
And Prime talked about. I know Prime's hyped about it. It's another movie that's not going to be out for a little bit, but at some point we'll see. Hey, Six Piece Nug. We're going to actually be hearing from Six Piece Nug.
That's
tonight.
the rumor that we might hear from him.
We actually might hear from Six Piece Nug later this evening. So we're really excited to get him on here and get his thoughts on one of the topics we'll be discussing. Dude, this is a dope shirt, man.
It's definitely one of the best.
It's a dope shirt
out
man.
there.
I'm a big fan of the shirt. I like his shirt too, though. We're gonna be talking about that tonight too. G-Man, talking about some G-Man.
G-Man.
But Tone,
yeah.
Hey, you guys like the new emoji? I think that new emoji is very, very cool.
Yeah, it's neat.
I think that is a fantastic emoji.
Yeah, it's perfect. I can't believe that passed.
So I honestly, when I sent it in, I was like, this will come back in like an hour saying, get the fuck out of here or we're gonna ban your channel. And when I got the approval, like 2 days later, I was like, "Are you kidding me? This really went through?" Hey man, thanks Twitch, appreciate it. I'm glad your standards are all over the place. It's really, really awesome that they're just so inconsistent. And they're probably watching this going, "Oh, really?" All of a sudden the stream goes dead, channel's canceled. Oh, Twitch got a bigger dick. I see. It's cool. What's going on with you though, man? How's life going? How's everything going on your end?
Not too bad, man. Just the normal work stuff. It's been nice being able to get back to a normal stream here and there for my own channel, Fanboytone. Just a lot of kind of peppered in when I can. No schedule, no agenda.
It's been cool though, man. Like you pop up and like you have a nice conversation with people. And these have been lengthy streams. There's been some lengthy streams, especially with the cyberpunk stuff.
Yeah. Honestly, it's just kind of funny that I just do these random not plan and go, hey, I'm gonna go live. Then all of a sudden there's a group of people in there and we just want to chit chat and fuck around. And I do an unboxing of what comes in the mail and stuff like that. And then I might play a game or two, and I can just kind of chill, So thank you, everybody, for that support. I do appreciate it. It's not, there's no real schedule. There's no real, format right now. We're just going to play it by ear, but it's better than not doing anything, and that's the
We see, man, I like the fact that you're actually still tone peeing on them. So, man, people are going to have a lot of fun with these emojis.
Oh, shit.
They're going to have a lot of fun. Jay Hill, I love Jay Hill's his creativity with emojis. It's unparalleled. It's amazing. But I'm glad that you're doing Cyberpunk. But man, I also noticed that you're also playing some NES titles.
No, but I'm just working on Cyberpunk mostly. That's my gaming. That's my choice.
Yeah.
I might have dabbled in a couple of retro gaming on the. I did a Switch stream not long ago.
I thought the low point.
Yeah.
I thought the low point was you sucking ass at Rygar. Not even out of the first. You didn't even get the fucking first boss. You're talking about I can't even beat the first boss. You couldn't get past the first set of enemies,
dude. All the fucking enemies are the first boss in that
trash.
fucking game.
Now
Whatever.
I thought that was the low point, but thanks to Tricky Regent, Prime, we saw a couple. There's actually a couple clips. One of them is more embarrassing than this one, but this one's actually pretty funny because Von Kaiser is a bitch, and Well, I'll let you guys here. You got to see. Keep in mind, Von Kaiser is a minor circuit fighter in Punch-Out.
He's the second guy.
He's a tutorial. Okay, he's a tutorial opponent where you learn how to play the game. And I'll just let this speak for itself.
Come on, game. This motherfucker.
I'm doing all right.
Is that it? Is that it? Am I done already? I did fucking.
What, man? Listen, in my defense, I never actually played Punch-Out as a kid. It was just
we
a
know.
game. Yeah.
No, you don't have to explain.
Because everybody's like, oh, fucking muscle memory. Oh, fucking I got that. Can do this in my sleep. Listen, I never played the fucking game as a kid because I knew that was potentially going to be a rage game. All right? And I just didn't have the patience for it. And I was busy playing. Yeah, that is obvious. Yeah, okay, everybody's got jokes. I was busy playing RPGs and being really super cool, playing like Final Fantasy and stuff. So I didn't give a shit about the game, and I played it for the first time 2 weeks ago, and it just happens to be a Saturday night stream. I'm drinking, playing Mario, and everybody's in, I'm going to play some retro games. I started playing Punch-Out, Tricks in there, Zack Dynamite, Panic. Everybody apparently had a goddamn blast while I'm doing it, too, because it is a thing, yes. It definitely
Can I explain again that Von Kaiser is a minor circuit tutorial opponent? There's Glass Joe, and then there's Von Kaiser.
Yeah, he's the second guy.
Yeah, and I'm going to play.
He's kind of like a first
I want you to listen. Listen carefully. It's faint, but listen to him just beat the shit out of the buttons with no like strategy at all. Listen to this. Listen.
Come on, game.
That's tapping.
He's beating the fucking buttons here. He's not dodging, and he's trying to punch faster than the game can actually punch. Leaving himself wide open for haymakers like this. Like, what? Dude, really? Like, he's still, yeah, then he doesn't even dodge. Like, are you fucking, like, really? Dude, Anderson actually came down here after that stream.
Oh, shut up with your joke.
And got all the way to Piston
Weak.
Honda. He got all the way to Piston Honda, dude.
Weak.
It's just, how did you make it past Glass Ho? No, I like Glass Ho better, Magaro. Don't correct it. I like Glass Ho because he is a hoe. Glass Ho sucks, and he lost to him like 75 times.
That's not true.
Glass Joe, he has like his hit points are like 10 out of like 150 of everyone else, and he struggled with him. I should have played that video because that was really embarrassing. I should have played that clip.
Well, if you're in the Discord, you can find it in the Discord because Tricky Regent did definitely clip that.
That's fucking
He just,
sweet. Whoa. Hey-o. Thank y'all so
Appreciate
much.
those. Damn.
Appreciate that.
Thanks for those
Atlanta.
subs. Appreciate y'all. Thank you. Coming in hot.
Thank you guys so
Love
much.
y'all.
I
We love you all.
appreciate that very, 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 very much. So yeah, what else other than Cyberpunk and getting your ass kicked by Von Kaiser? You been playing anything else? Checking anything else out, or you just been busy?
Just been busy. I am going to attempt to work on Control a little bit. Sprinkle that in with Cyberpunk.
I do have a poll going in the Discord right now, and because like obviously this week we had two major launches. We had actually three: Division 2, God of War, and Control all got next gen upgrades.
A lot of big
all running
stuff.
at 60 frames, higher resolutions, and what have you. And I have a poll going for my game because I just finished TheMedium, which we'll talk about later tonight. But I was tossed up, dude, because obviously I never finished God of War, and you were shocked by that.
I was completely blown away by that. I thought at the very least you had beaten 2018's one of the two best games that came out in 2018.
A great game. And
yeah, no shit.
Yeah, and so I didn't finish that, but then Control, which was kind of like an inconsistent performance on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. It was kind of all over the place. Now it has a performance mode that's running pretty much at a lock 60. And with this game, it's obviously a sci-fi game. There's a lot going on, a lot of particle effects. It looks really, really good at 60 frames. So I was like, fuck, man, what game do I get into for my next title after I play TheMedium? So I got a poll going in the Discord. Currently, God of War is ahead of Control by like 2 or 3 votes. So it looks like God of War will be the next game that I'll play through beginning on Monday. So I'm really excited about that because God of War, from what I played, was fucking epic. And you've beaten it, so you know just how epic.
Yeah, like everybody else.
I deserve that. I
And,
definitely deserve that.
So yeah, it looked like Prime, was that you out there for all the subs? Thank you. I believe that was you.
Was that Prime?
Appreciate you dropping those gifted subs, and everybody. Thank you, everybody. As always, Prime, we appreciate your support, and though we give you a lot of shit, and I still think you're a POS.
Oh,
I
he's
do
still
love
a
you.
piece. No.
Yeah.
Folks. That was a very. It was Ninja. It was Ninja. Oh, okay, well, that's a real piece of shit, right? Ooh, because you can't talk shit about Ninja. You know what? If Ninja played Destiny 2, he'd be me. Because I am the Ninja of Destiny 2,
God.
so I can talk that shit.
No, well, what have you been doing? What have you been playing?
What have I been playing? I have been playing. I got through TheMedium. Played through that. We'll talk about that a little bit later. I'm still working through Days Gone, which is a fucking incredibly long game. There's a lot going on there. But another title that is definitely worth a look. If you guys are into stealth action RPGs, I streamed it on Friday night. It's called Disjunction from Ape Tribe Games. It's a pixel art style.
Yeah,
game,
that you played that a little bit already, right?
And it's actually pretty good.
I was kind of digging that shit.
Dude, the soundtrack, I've already listened to it multiple times this week while I'm working. It's a very sci-fi, dude, the soundtrack is very similar to what you hear in Blade Runner, the old one.
So it's in my wheelhouse.
Oh,
Everything
no,
about this game is in my wheelhouse.
It's ambiance. It's very, it's really good to listen to, and it fits the gameplay because the gameplay can be very, very difficult. It can be very difficult at times, but it's a really, really good game. So if you guys are into like a challenging action RPG, it actually has some like skill trees, stuff you can build up, but the stealth elements are actually really good. Didn't the dude rage on that? I did. Tommy showed up and I was
dude raged on a game. That's fucking new. Wow.
There's a fucking shock.
Right.
So I've been playing that a little bit here and there. So making the way through those games off stream, but the next stream game is probably looking like it's going to be God of War.
Sweet.
And after that, we'll hop into Control because I think we talked about it earlier. There's not a whole lot of like big single player stuff coming out.
April it drops like 4.
Yeah, so I'm hoping I should be able to get through God of War and Control by April. Right. But the other one I'm interested in, I'm going to stream Friday night. And if anybody out there has a PlayStation 5, I'm going to check out Destruction All-Stars.
Ooh, maybe I'll hop in too.
I think you should. I think you should hop into that for a little bit. I'm going to hop onto that, try that out. So if you want to play, I think you can have up to 8 people in your party. So if you go in some of the multiplayer modes where you can join with a party, you can have up to 8 people.
And that's free for Plus members, right?
That's free for Plus members. And I feel like anybody who has PlayStation probably should have Plus at this point if you play online. And I have to have it anyway. So
check her out.
Destruction All-Stars. I played a little bit of it so far. It's actually pretty fun.
Awesome.
It's actually pretty fun. So thanks, Cuddles. Appreciate it. That's where I'll be Friday night. Destruction All-Stars. If you have a PlayStation 5 and you want to join me, we can squad up, have some fun, dick around with some car combat, which is always a good time. Big fan. But the other there was a little addition to our family this week.
Yeah. Congratulations, by the way.
I appreciate it. My wife always wanted a daughter, and it was an emotional week. We've had 2 boys. It's like I really want a girl.
Yeah,
I really want a little girl. And
it's long overdue. I know.
I wasn't too keen on the whole adding to the litter, but we have to welcome Pepper. She is. There's the newest addition to our family.
Mm-hmm.
A champagne, blue-eyed.
Oh my God, yeah.
Labrador. And she is totes adorbs. I'm a huge. I wasn't sure because I've always been a cat person. I had Bella for a long time.
Right.
Bella was 2001 to last year, and I miss Bella. And that was seriously, honestly, man, one of the hardest experiences to go through. Man, Bella passing was not easy. And so now, my wife was like, "Should we get a dog?" And I was like, "No." Initially, I was like, "No, we don't need a fucking dog. We're good."
It's a lot of work. Man.
You want me to replace Bella? Like, no dog. And then she was like, "Hey, this lady at work, she knows somebody who is, she's breeding dogs, and she's got like a litter of 8." And I was like, "Oh, okay, fine, let's go look." I did say Totes. I don't go fuck Cuddles. I said Totes. And you know what? Cuddles is gonna be Totes Cuddles Dude 2021. Deal with it. That's what we're naming it, bro. But no. She's actually a lot of fun. I was a little concerned about it, but the potty training is going great. Like we've already got the bell on the door handle, and this week constantly going to the door. She pooped upstairs once, she peed upstairs once, and we took the poop outside and said, "Hey, this is where it goes." And I constantly taking it. Now she's actually going up, tapping the bell. And I'm like, "Fuck yes!"
Is that why you put the bell there for me?
That's why the bell's there for you, buddy.
Cool.
I want you to go knock on that when it's time for you to go tinkle. But I know she's been a lot of fun. It is a little tough at night because you still gotta take them out, late at night. So the sleeping has been a little off here and there. But and I told my wife, I go, "What are you gonna do though with the bells?" Of like we're laying in bed and Pepper's laying in the crate next to us, and all of a sudden you hear the bells ring. She's like, "That's not funny. That's fucking hilarious." I hear the bells ring. I'm pushing you out the door, and I'm shutting the door, and I'm protecting the kids and the dog. That's what I'm doing.
What a real piece of shit.
A real piece of shit. Real piece of shit. But no, she's been a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun with it. She's adorable, and she's growing on me pretty fast.
And I got to say, I'm very glad that Melissa brought her down for me to hold her because
you got to see Pepper,
because well, part of the reason I asked where Melissa was earlier because I was like I didn't want to come out and say like there's a dog around because like I really wanted to see the dog. But she brought her out, so I got to hold her for a minute, and she's got that I always the puppy breath still.
Oh, she's got that puppy breath.
Oh god, that puppy breath, and I don't know what it is about that, but yeah, she's very adorable. She's soft and like squishy still.
Very squishy.
Pretty awesome. So we're all fur baby loving around here. So that was
big fan.
Big fan. So I do got a question though.
Oh, I have an answer. Hopefully.
Why the name Pepper?
The kids took over on that one.
Gotcha.
Because and it's funny because
I'm just saying
we had the whole list. We had a whole list. Hey, Wenzilla, what's going on, dude? Wenzilla's in the chat. What's up, Wenzilla? Oh, man.
Wenzilla?
But so we had the whole list of names. I had Athena on there. I'm a big fan of Athena's name. I actually had Furiosa because for whatever reason, Furiosa, dude. Honestly, that's one of my favorite like female characters in anything.
Yeah,
Charlize Theron and Mad Max.
Yeah,
it was incredible. So we had this whole list of names though, and like we got to Pepper, and immediately Ethan goes, "Pepper Potts," because he loves Iron Man. He loves all the Iron Man movies. So immediately he's like, "Pepper Potts," and Anderson was like, "Pepper," and I was like, "Oh shit." And Melissa goes, "Kind of like Pepper." And I'm like, "Fuck." Well, I guess I'm out. It's not gonna be Furiosa.
Man, Athena or Furiosa.
Yeah, I mean, kind of badass names. Furiosa.
Just think Pepper was kind of. I love it because it's that's a. Not a pepperish looking dog.
It's not at all. That's why the kids took over.
And that exactly, but I think that's more fun.
And it's probably best that it wasn't Furiosa because I was gonna put hot tar on its head, like Charlize Theron puts.
Tar that was a lame joke. Cool.
But then I feel
hey, so we got a RoboCop 3 joke out there that's almost as bad.
Should have named it RoboCop 3. How do you ban a mod? Can you do that?
You might be able to.
I think you can fight back on that. So. But no, it's been awesome. But enough of that. First of all,
you almost forgot.
I almost forgot because I slammed this one before the show.
Yeah. If you guys
promo,
if you guys check us out,
I forgot
Instagram
it was 11%,
or on Facebook. The story there, he slammed almost an entire bottle of 11% ABV KBS.
Whoops.
That chocolate fudge maple.
I do it for all of you.
Yeah,
I do it for all of you.
But tonight, yes, he's listening right there. We are drinking Oddside Mayan Mocha Stout, 6% ABV. It is got a real big kick of habanero in there compared to one of the last ones we've had. So like, it's very warm and it sits very warm for you. So good stuff. I do enjoy the spicy beers.
Nope.
But this guy right here, this is not one I'd had yet from Rolk. And this is another sour we got here, and it's called, I can't pronounce it right, Cent Annie. It's an Italian kettle sour, right? Did I say that right? Yeah.
You're butchering Italian something horrible.
Anyways, yes, this is very awesome. Rolk around here, Royal Oak Brewing Company does great beers. They're one of the few in Michigan that we have that consistently does sours. So thank you, Rolk. We love you. Half-ass beer review. You've probably tried it. You may have actually probably reviewed this, but yes, good stuff tonight. Good mix tonight, we will say.
I'm sure we'll be shit-faced. But first of all, before we get to the first topic, right at the top of the chat, you see Ant House Beats. The fine music you were hearing just before the episode started.
Once again, let you know.
Just to let you know, Music Therapy 2 will be out soon. I'm not privy to the date. Ant House was like, I can't tell you that, bro. All right, man, I'm sorry. I just want to tell the people. He said, no, I tell the people.
No, he didn't want you to know.
He didn't want me to know shit. But Ant House Beats, Music Therapy 2 will be out very soon. The song you heard at the beginning called Streets of Love. The second, the closing song. When you're here for the closing, you got to hear it, dude. It's Vibe With Me, and it's a fucking awesome track.
I'm hyped.
Huge fan of the closing track. You guys are going to love it. But look for it. Music Therapy 2 will be on everything. Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, everywhere. Make sure you follow that guy. He's on Twitter and House Beats. He also streams on Facebook Gaming and Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
Search him out everywhere. I can't tell you, Cap. Only he knows. I'm not privy to that information. I'm not privy to it, but it will be soon. There it is. See? He just said soon. So make sure you check him out. Follow him. It's gonna be a dope song. It's gonna be a dope album, you guys. I'm telling you right now. These two songs, fucking dope. Yeah, I'm telling you, Cap. You know, he's got a bunch. His tracks are really, really good. He's a talented artist. He's really, really good. Look for Music Therapy 2 very, very soon.
Thanks, Cuddles.
All right. First topic of the evening. We're going into movies, baby. Movie review.
We got topics?
We have topics.
Oh.
And it's not
fine,
just Pepper.
I guess.
Let's go.
I could talk about
First
Pepper all
up,
night.
Little Things. And I'm not talking about what's in Tone's pants. We're talking about the movie.
Who's your hand?
That is a... God, you're a scumbag. But The Little Things is available now until February 28th on HBO Max.
Mm-hmm.
And this, when we first saw the trailer of this, when you see the cast that's involved here, the level of talent involved was unprecedented. Like, man, this is really good. Academy Award winners, all 3 slots. We're talking about Denzel Washington, Rami Malek, and Jared Leto. And when we watched the trailer,
and we're already getting commentary,
and you know what,
out there too.
And we're getting commentary in the chat about the movie already, and I happen to agree with a lot of what they're saying in certain ways, and we'll get into that. But this movie, this is the first major release with Warner Brothers. What they're doing with the releasing day and date on streaming service as well as in theaters. So this is like the first big title of their of HBO Max of like that's coming out, and again, with the talent involved, obviously the hype behind this thing was palpable.
All you got to say is Denzel.
Yeah, I mean, it's Denzel. I mean, and here's the thing, man. Like, Denzel is like Tom Hanks. He'll come out, give a knockout performance. The movie could still be kind of like what we saw last week with News of the World. And It was like, okay, great performance. Okay, movie not great. The Little Things, I think it's going to fall into that in that category, in my opinion. But I want to get your thoughts first on what you thought of The Little Things, because I know we were both equally excited for this movie.
We were, and we're pretty on par with. I think I think one thing I'm learning about this movie, and I know we agreed that that video I sent you earlier, kind of giving some more background to it. I think it makes. I definitely feel like it's something I got to watch again, because I feel like maybe I've lost some perspective, and that's not always a good thing either. Mm-hmm. And I remember I was watching it the one day, and I messaged you and I said, "Man, there's a scene, one of the first scenes where Denzel and Rami are sitting there, and wasn't necessarily the dialogue they were doing. It was just like you could feel the power.
Chemistry was there
of these two. Yeah, they had power. Like they had this crazy chemistry. And you're like, fuck, like this is dope. Like, is this how the rest of the movie's gonna go? The problem with the story and the movie overall was definitely, like you said, the performances were fine. It's just that the story felt very not predictable necessarily, kind of predictable to some degree and kind of cliched.
Mm-hmm.
Even with the ending, like I wasn't overly surprised by it. I kind of felt like it was like they were throwing softball or underhand pitches. Like there's just easy stuff. Like it really wasn't challenging on thought and mind. Now that doesn't mean that the story was bad. It's not a movie I would watch again, but I just felt like they were on. I always go back to director Krennig from Rogue One when he's like, we were this close to greatness. We were this. They really were. I felt like this movie was on the cusp of greatness, so close, and it just didn't have that that oomph. That just didn't. It missed that mark. And like even early on, like when they're kind of setting it up, and like when Rami's in front of the news people, and you're like, man, this guy is like serious business. And like when he starts getting tangled with Denzel, it's like he almost became so passive. It almost kind of took me out of it. I'm like, why is Rami being so passive? Like, if you're playing that kind of character, that's fine, but he's not that kind of guy. Like,
he's a very stoic character in this movie,
which is fine. But once after the movie was done, and I was like, okay, hey, this was. I liked the acting. I liked everything that was going on. Jared Leto was a fucking creep. Now, let me tell you something.
Oh, yeah.
Jared Leto, like, I know there's a lot back and forth about Jared Leto for everybody.
He's talented as fuck.
I like a lot of stuff. I actually like his music. I'm not like a super fan.
Music?
But, 30 Seconds to Mars.
I know that.
Lead singer, 30 Seconds to Mars. You're weird.
I know. It's all techno for me, dude.
Fair
techno
enough.
soundtracks.
Dubstep. But really, you never knew he was the lead singer of 30 Seconds to Mars? That's going to blow my mind. His performance in this movie was uncomfortable. Like when he would just look at the camera.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He had those dead eyes,
dude. The whole face was deadpan.
Yeah.
And it's like it's frustrating because the story was so like it's like these guys like put in so much work in this, and you were just kind of like left wanting more. And very honestly, after this video I sent him the other day, kind of like maybe it was today, was really kind of talking about the different perspective what you have when you watch this movie. Of okay, if you were on a jury, and you had to convict somebody, you have to look at conclusive evidence.
Right.
And that kind of gave me a different perspective, but it misses the mark because there's so many, I don't want to say plot holes in it necessarily, but there's just so much more. You're like, well, who was the this or who was the that or what really drove this? Like, it almost made it worse to a degree, like you were saying. But at the end of the day, like, I definitely think you should watch it. You probably will agree from what seems like a lot of people that, you know, hey, the movie was not that great. I was kind of bored. I wasn't there far as that goes. It just really didn't come swinging like I wanted to, and I have questions. And it's not the kind of movie that at first seems like it wanted you to question, but after kind of like reviewing that video I found earlier, I feel like they wanted you to kind of question, and they wanted that big question mark, kind of like at the end of Inception. However, it didn't tee you up perfectly for that, so you were just like left like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like, you know, I agree with everything you said, and a lot of what the folks are saying in the chat, I agree with as well. I mean, first of all, look, there's no way to, you know, you can't discredit the performers involved. Everybody, the leads are great in this movie.
Yeah.
You know, you've got Denzel as the scarred hero, and you know, if Denzel can convey so much emotion through his performances, he's so good in his movies, and if his character is scarred or if his character is enduring like pain and suffering, he's great at conveying that. So he's got emotions running in many scenes, really, really good. And Rami Malek is a stoic character, and he's the hot shot detective. You know, he's got this, you know, nothing phases me persona going on. He's like a machine doing his job, focused. He's very good at what he does and what have you. And then you've got Jared Leto, who's like this eccentric wild card. Like, he's just, I wanted to look it up. I seriously wanted to look up and see how much of that shit he was saying was improvised. There was some random shit that he was saying out there. I was like, man, that's fucking hilarious. Like, that's really funny. And it was just so off the cuff. You're just like, that's got to be improv.
He was a fucking weirdo.
Like, he was really, really weird. But, you know, and you know, they're all great, and the synergy between them is all really good. Whether it's Rami Malek and Denzel, or Jared Leto and Rami Malek, or all three of them when they're in the interrogation room, they're all fucking really good at each other. So, like, there's nothing, I can't knock the performances. The performances are great, but like you mentioned, and the story is just kind of confusing a little bit. And it's, you know, there were some themes there's some comparisons to a couple movies that I really, really like that I got vibes from here. First of all, Seven. I got vibes of Seven.
Oh, I totally did. Like, especially at the end, that's all it was Seven vibes.
At the beginning, especially, it was very much like a holy shit. This feels like a Seven type of show, and it also reminded me of a movie that was Captain Spaulding. What's going on? Welcome. Good morning. Good evening. But the other movie that this reminded me of was The Pledge. I don't know if you guys ever saw that, with Jack Nicholson, directed by Sean Penn. It was like out in 2002 or something like that.
Seen it.
But it was a movie that explored Jack Nicholson's character. Like, he meets his family, their daughter is killed, and he makes a pledge to them. Yes, I will find the killer. And he spends Prime Diagnosis. He knows that movie. Yep, Robin Wright Penn. I mean, it's a really, really, it's a dark movie. It's not a feel good movie, but it explores like the commitment that some of these detectives, how it kind of takes over their lives, and how focused they get on stuff. So there were some comparisons there, but, you know, again, when they're all together, it's really, really good. But, you know, as you mentioned, man, when the things start off, and I know that video mentioned, you know, if you're a jury, and there are a lot of obscure things, small things that you could have easily missed in this movie. There's a couple things in that video I was like, yeah, I noticed the Busch Light can.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, some of things like that. Some good details.
But, you know, oh, dude, the ending of The Pledge is tragic as hell. It's seriously, and again, that's a movie where I felt like this was trying to be like The Pledge. Didn't stick the landing like The Pledge. It tried to be a little bit like Seven. Sure as fuck didn't end like Seven. Didn't have that ending. I thought it was for a moment when Jared Leto was like, you got a really nice family. And I was like, oh, shit.
There was a lot of that.
Where's the box?
That's a lot of that vibe at the end, too, when they're out in the middle of the desert. Like, what the fuck?
But, you know, not to get into spoilers, but, you know, there's just this weird theme where they're, in the movie, they're trying to make detectives look like, you know, their job is tough, and it really is, and I believe that it is.
Right.
But and they try to play it like, you know, they're these virtuoso people where they're like, you know, I want to find the people who are responsible for this. But then there's some decisions that are made and some choices that are made where I'm just like, this is kind of counterproductive to that. And I don't know if I agreed with that. I was like, this, I mean, he wants to, you know, one character wants to be an angel and wants to help somebody else out, but at the same time, it's like, you're guilty of something, and it's just like, The story didn't add up, and I was just really confused by that, and it really took away from the performances. And I can't help but wonder if maybe if they would have went for just a more straightforward finale as opposed to trying to be like this. I don't know how to describe the way the close. It wasn't even like a surprise. It was just kind of like, oh, dude, really, this is where they went with this.
I want to say like I feel like they wanted to explore, like, because you mentioned like how the choices that they made, like especially with Denzel, like grinded him for so long and made him almost sick.
Yep.
I want to feel like they wanted to try and like, what was that Tom Holland movie we watched? Devil All the Time.
Devil All the Time. Yep.
Where that was really exploring like people and their psyche and like emotions and how they handle them. I feel like this movie wanted to do that, but it didn't do that, and instead we're left with like, I'll take it back. So Rami Malek's character, you see him starting to turn into Deke.
Yeah,
you see him starting to break.
Yep.
Like he's starting to break. Like he wants to do the right thing so much that it almost creates blinders. Kind of like I always go back to Eddard Stark in Ned Stark in Game of Thrones. His honor and his pride was way too much, and that's why he lost his fucking head.
Right.
At the end of the day, that's why he lost his head, because pride got in the way, and it's kind of what goes on in some of the in that case. I think with this as well too, but it just didn't stick. It didn't stick the landing. It didn't stick the ending, and it didn't stick those kind of things. Like again, like I said, it was this close to fucking greatness.
Dude. It was really close.
This close.
And like, had they just decided, hey, look, let's go for the shocking ending, or like Prime Dedic said, go for the tragic ending. It tried to land in the middle, and I'm sorry, but the build up with all these interactions with the characters and this game of chess that Jared Leto's character is playing with them, you're just like, dude, I wanted the ending to that show.
Yeah,
that's what I wanted. Yeah. And they tried to play it safe and land somewhere in the middle. And I was just like, dude, no. With this much talent involved, you never got that one big scene at the end where you're like, fuck yeah, that's awesome, or oh my god. You were just like, oh.
Yeah, that's
really, this is where we're going.
So we're going back to normal life after life, and everybody just kind of gets what they want. And yeah, at the end of the day, I would say watch the movie. Go
pay for it. I wouldn't buy it. I mean, unless you're on HBO Max, watch it now. But after that, I would wait for it to be on TV, because honestly, this is like, it's right up there with a lot of Denzel's movies that he's really good in it. Like I go back and I think about Virtuosity with Denzel Washington and Russell Crowe. I don't know if you guys ever saw this, but Virtuosity is a terrible fucking movie. But you're just like, the talent's there. Like Russell Crowe is committed as fuck in Virtuosity. He's nuts. Denzel's doing his thing, and you're just like, these guys are good, but this movie sucks. But, Denzel, I don't know about dope. But like, he's got a couple other movies in there that weren't well received, but, it is what it is. And this is one of the Denzel movies where obviously the guy is talented as fuck, and Rami Malek is talented as fuck, and Jared Leto is talented as fuck. The story failed them here. The writing failed them here, and that's just the end of it. It's a bummer. It's a disappointment.
This close.
It was really close. It could have been great, but it ended up. It's going to be forgettable at best.
Yep,
I'm not going to remember this in the annals of Denzel movies. This is not going to be something I'm going to be like, hey guys, remember fucking The Little Things? No, we're going to be at it. So. Let us know what your thoughts are. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're listening to us on iTunes or anything, he said anals. Yes, I did. I knew. You know what? If there was anybody that was going to come out with a sophomoric joke, it was going to be the oldest fucking guy in the chat.
Why don't you grow up, Prime?
It's past his bedtime. It's past his bedtime.
He's like euphoric right now. He has no idea where he's at. Where am I at?
Oh, King Kong. The Little Things is the cyberpunk of the movie world. Oh, my.
Let's move on. We got another topic or something we can get to.
I'm going to repeat that. The Little Things is the cyberpunk.
He hasn't even played cyberpunk.
And he shouldn't. He should wait.
Watch your damn mouth.
Should wait for the good one. Yeah, sit there and die on that hill. Like, he's going to let you die on that hill alone, bro.
Hey, I'm not telling anybody to buy it.
I'm good, because nobody should.
Oh, my God.
And he can't on PlayStation anyways. It's not in the store, remember?
It's not digitally on Xbox either.
They didn't take it off Xbox.
They took it off, and Xbox did it first, and then Sony did it after.
Xbox didn't take it off?
Yeah, you can't digitally download it on either.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know about that, man.
Yeah, yep.
Did they yep. See, Prime said no. See, you're full of shit. I believe
Prime. They took it off.
Now I believe Prime.
No, fuck that. You don't get to create your own narrative. Get this shit out of here.
You're a scumbag.
Xbox did it first, took it off their marketplace, and then Sony did it the next day, or vice versa. I don't know. Doesn't
They took it
matter.
off both for a while. Okay,
Yeah,
all
are they
right,
back?
all
Okay,
right,
well,
all
then.
right. I just thought this guy was full of shit, but apparently Prime is just really full of shit. I believe Prime for a moment, but that's what I get.
He's a
That's
piece
what I
of
get.
shit.
All right, now we're gonna move on to something I know you're extremely excited about, and I know Prime Didact's extremely excited about, and I was really excited about because you guys were excited about it. And I watched the trailer and I was like, wow, I'm really excited about this now. Let's talk about
Because I fucking love
the G-Man
Godzilla.
First Kong, and there we go.
Gojira.
We got our trailer.
Gojira.
Finally,
Gojira.
Now, hopefully, this doesn't suffer the same fate as the Little Things. This is going straight to HBO Max
Can't.
as
They're
well.
all like fucking. I don't know how tall they are. What? How tall? Wait. Kong is so this is the tallest Kong
He's
in
really
history
tall.
of all the King Kongs
Is
that
it
have
really?
come since what was the first one in like the 30s or something like
He's
that.
been eating his fucking Wheaties,
50s
dude.
maybe.
He's
Yeah,
been
yeah.
eating
This
his
is
Wheaties.
this is the when he votes for Kong. Get out of here with your shit. Is that Jay Hill? Come on.
J-Hill, man,
Come
wants
on.
Kong to win, dude.
Come on.
What's wrong with Kong?
Can't be the king if you can't beat the king, and that's Godzilla,
Oh,
brah.
jeez.
Sorry.
Oh, jeez.
Sorry.
Well,
Sorry.
Tone,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
guys
yeah.
went nuts when this
Yeah.
trailer dropped. You
Mhm,
guys went crazy. I want to get your initial reaction when this popped, dude. I know you watched it like 25 times.
I watched it 2 or 3 times within the first hour, and probably within 24 hours at least a dozen times. I could check my YouTube stats later. Yeah, you get that heat with that, don't you?
It
Well,
does
just
have
wait,
some
just wait
spice.
till it washes down.
Yeah, the habaneros are starting to show
Yeah,
up.
the habaneros right there. Holy shit. Was exactly what I thought and honestly, like, some people were hit or miss about some of the music choice for some of the trailer. I love the music choice for the trailer. I thought it was really dope. We can't play it, unfortunately, because of licensing stuff, but if you get a chance, if you've not seen the trailer, you need to see the trailer. That scene when they're on top, right, it's coming up right here on the fucking carrier, bro.
Yeah. The first
This
hit.
is fucking so hype, and he just comes, wow,
Boom!
swaps
Big
him
hit.
right in the fucking head, dude. I fucking love that, and that's what I like. Because I love kaiju films, anyways. Like I
Yep.
love Pacific Rims. Anything with a big thing fighting is gonna get me hyping. And I grew up as a kid completely in love with Godzilla. And this to see now what we are doing. Like, listen, I love the Toho stuff. I love the Showa eras and stuff like this. But what Legendary has done to give it this real life pseudo ground based reality look to it with the CG, so we're at that point now. You know what I mean? We're just at that point, dude. I fucking love these.
This
movies.
right here,
What
this
Legendary's
scene
doing.
in Japan, where he goes in with the hammer. This right here, this
Dude.
shot is fucking
Dude.
epic right there.
Dude.
That is epic
Dude.
as fuck.
That is fucking sweet, right?
Yeah, dude.
That is fucking sweet.
That
He's
is,
he's using basically like one of the spines from a Godzilla, like, because there's technically, well, who knows really for sure, but I don't know if it's from this Godzilla. We don't know where it comes from, but he uses an axe, and that's pretty cool because when you think about it, like primates like develop the intelligence to create tools and stuff like that or whatever like that. So it's kind of neat to kind of see something like that. It's not something I don't think anybody expected, but so far everybody's like, fucking cool. Like, he's got a fucking axe, whatever. He's got a fucking atomic breath. Why don't he have a fucking axe, right? So yeah, this instantly got me really hype, and I know definitely when this dropped that day, me and Prime Didact were freaking out, and then like my my Godzilla Facebook groups and everything like that, and the kaiju groups started just completely erupting. Then all the speculation came out. Then people are like, "Yo, pause the screen at 4 seconds." Oh shit, we think that's fucking Mechagodzilla.
Is it the part where
it's 4 seconds in the trailer, and there was actually Rampage, for the record, is a great fucking movie. I saw that in the theaters. Rampage is a great movie in the pantheon of kaiju movies, and I will back that up all day. It honestly, Rampage was very surprising on how good it was for what it was. Exactly, it was completely fun, and it didn't hold no punches. It was campy as fuck, and it wasn't trying to be anything else. And it was fucking
right
awesome.
there in the distance.
Is it 4 seconds? It's 4 seconds in, I think.
Yeah, that's the.
Is that 4 seconds?
The 4 second mark is right here.
Is it?
Yep.
You'll see it come. There's like a pathway. Like they're walking down the stairs. Let me see.
Oh no, this is further in. Oh, there it is, right there, right. Okay, yeah.
There it is. But the toy leak last year was I don't know if it was last year or last fall, but the toy leak came through and it showed Godzilla, Kong, and Mechagodzilla, and that threw everybody for a loop because Mechagodzilla is nowhere in here. Well, this is where we start getting into some speculation territory, but clearly, just back it up. Can you just back it up a smidge at all?
Sure can.
Is that hard to do? It's probably
it's a little finicky. I'm working on it.
Not quantum physics.
I mean, it is for me. I'm a moron. There. God darn it! I didn't hit the pause button. I'll try one more time.
Try hitting the pause button. That
I'm
actually
trying,
might help
Daddy.
you. That might. All right.
You like that? I
Fair
know you
enough,
like
fair
that.
enough.
There we go. Right there.
It's hard maybe still to see because he's not good at this pause button thing, but at this point, when you look closely, there are red glowing eyes, and you clearly see the metallic head of a Mechagodzilla. So Mechagodzilla's got a really interesting backstory in the background of all Godzillas, where originally in like the when he was created in the 70s and during the Toho era, he was actually a bad guy, and he was helped created by an alien race that was on Earth that was posing as humans.
See this here, right here,
old school anime Japanese style.
This is the other shot that people are talking about.
Powering up, etc.
This is maximum charge, and what it looks like to be like a Godzilla, like in the background behind that where it says systems, maximum charge behind that, it looks like it's like an exoskeleton or like a mechanical version of Godzilla.
Everybody's breaking this shit down. So my guess is, if anybody wants to be involved in guessing or speculations, and I'm prepared to do that. If you guys don't want spoilers for the movie, I'll give you a second here. If you don't care, we're going to get into it. Okay, so
there's your warning.
My thought process is at this point, after all the speculation, is that when they say, "Oh man, Godzilla's attacking all the Monarch spots. Why is he
a bad guy now?
Right? Why is he a bad guy now?" Well, Godzilla's kind of never really been a good or bad guy to it's degrees, right? Like,
but
kaiju.
To counter that, in these last two movies, in this universe,
he's been overall good.
Yep.
In 2014, he saved from the
Muto.
The city,
this one, but to be fair, at the end of King of Monsters, he's got all the other kaiju around him bowing, so to speak. So maybe this went to his head.
They're definitely kneeling to the king.
Yep, they sure
just
are.
Throwing it out there. Which makes me think Kong might actually win a fight because give him the King Kong. But anyways, that's not actually Godzilla attacking Kong on the aircraft carrier. That is more than likely Mechagodzilla in the Godzilla suit, and eventually that'll melt off and reveal him. Because of those same things, he's targeting specific sites, which are Monarch sites. There's a third party some people may have forgotten. In King of the Monsters, Charles Dance's group are basically like chaotic evil, and they want to reset everything, and their whole goal is to give it to the kaiju or whatever. At the end of the movie, in the credits, they procure the severed head of King Ghidorah left in the ocean, and that is an easy way to create or produce some form of skin, or however they do it. My guess is
the brain, wasn't it? I think the idea is
probably that they probably wanted that, cybernetic, cyborgish, whatever brain thing, right? So Apex is kind of like the third spoke in that. So
what was it? And the other thing is, at the end of Godzilla, they're down in that cavern and they see the skeleton of the previous version of Godzilla.
At the beginning of Godzilla 2014, they're in one of the skeletons of it, or that might have something to do more with the Muto. No, that was Godzilla.
I think it was a Godzilla.
It was Godzilla. Yeah. Because I think the Muto and them were fighting or something weird like that. But yeah, so a lot of these things are kind of converging into the fact that this is how they're going to bring Mechagodzillas. Is instead of being some weird alien race, it's going to be, even though it was confirmed in the last movie, King Ghidorah came from outer space, Monster Zero. That Apex is going to create Mechagodzilla, and they just want chaos, so they want to pretty much fool everybody and think that Godzilla's attacking shit when it's not Godzilla. It's just evil Godzilla, but really Mechagodzilla, and then they're fighting and stuff like that, which has got a lot of people at that point saying, well, we want to see Godzilla and Kong fight. Maybe in that Tokyo scene, that might actually be them. We don't know.
There was one theory, and I feel like this is treading on, the line here is very, very thin, and I think back to Freddy versus Jason. Someone's gonna, one will stand. Whoever wins, we lose, or whatever the bullshit tagline was. Whoever wins, we lose. And at the end, we never really got an outcome. Freddy wins the first fight, but then at the end scene, or Jason wins that fight, but then he's walking off. Freddy winks, and you're like, God damn it, we didn't get AVP as well. Blanco knows AVP is the same way. And the tagline for this fucking movie is "One will fall." So now if this is Mechagodzilla and posing as Godzilla, causing all sorts of destruction, and the theory is what's going to happen is when Kong goes to hit him with that hammer.
Yep.
That one person's like, man, what if he hits in there? And that's when you realize it's Mecha like it does some damage to him, like it messes up his face. It's Mecha Godzilla, and then the other Godzilla shows up, and he's like, "Oh, hey, let's fucking team up and fuck this dude up." I feel like you're treading in very dangerous territory there.
Well, you're right, and that would be very Godzilla movie-ish too. Like, because like that would not be the first time in Godzilla's history that something pseudo like that would happen.
True.
It's very very common when you start to look back. Because a lot of their inspiration, like honestly, 2014, for all the hate that it got, and I will defend it all day, is that 2014 got a lot of hate from a lot of people who weren't familiar with watching Godzilla movies. Like, I love that people who aren't familiar with a lot of Godzilla's past are enjoying these movies and stuff like that. But there becomes a fine line when, depending on who's talking, who I care about what they're saying or not. I felt 2014 was a perfect, was a reboot, or what do you want to say? It was a great. What's the word I'm looking for? It encompassed what a lot of the Godzilla movies were. The biggest complaint in 2014 was people saying,
didn't see enough of Godzilla.
Well, guess what? A lot of the early Godzillas, you didn't see Godzilla right away because listen, the story about Godzilla, while it's a big metaphor for Hiroshima, Nagasaki, and nuclear stuff, the big story, or the big thing about Godzilla is that the story's not always about him. The story is actually about everything. He's a part of it, but he's not the focal point of it. He just happens to be the biggest part of him because he's literally huge. There's always the scientist, the average Joe, or the soldier, all these things, all these stuff, all this bureaucracy and all this tug of war of different things and storylines going on.
Yep.
Because why else, like in a lot of the older movies, would they show like some random journalist being like, man, I got to get these pictures of Godzilla, and oh man, I got fired from my job. Oh man, we're in harm's way. Look, he's helping us. And like, it's all these dialogues with different things going on. And a lot of people had a hard time with that because you're seeing like Elizabeth Olsen's character and her husband and stuff with Bryan Cranston, and like they're very minor roles, but that was very much the set piece of how a lot of these early Godzillas were. And that's what makes it fun and interesting, is because you're dealing with a lot of different storylines as well too. And then King of the Monsters comes out and it's just swinging, and people were still complaining about that, like it was too much now. Like, dude, fuck out of here. Like, these movies are, for all intents and purposes, very Godzilla-esque. They just ratcheted up in King of the Monsters and people still complained, and I was like, dude.
Yeah, no, see, I didn't mind like the lack of Godzilla. I felt it was like the right amount. And I think about the movie War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise and Steven Spielberg. Like, we didn't get to see much of what the aliens were doing. It was more about the family and all the drama that was there, and that's what you got a lot about from Godzilla in 2014. But when he did show up, I was like, oh man, this is fucking dope. And it was to the point, there was one scene I remember where he showed up and he started battling the Muto, and that's when Elizabeth Olsen is going into the subway and they shut the door, and you're like, no, I just wanted to see it.
That was a little bit of bullshit, though. I'll give you that.
I thought it was a really cool way. I was like, oh, you teased me. But at the same time, it was like, you had enough good performance. Bryan Cranston was really, really good for as long as he was in it.
Right.
Elizabeth Olsen was really good. You and I are split kind of like on Aaron Taylor Thompson. I think his name, Aaron Taylor or something.
Yeah, he's a better actor than he was playing a stoic character.
Yeah, I didn't really care for him in that, but we got people talking about the Matthew Broderick one. I'm just going to time into the 1998 Godzilla.
Get trash out of here with that.
Matthew Broderick miscast. Hank Azaria wasted. John Reno miscast. I mean, it was just it. But here's the thing:
Godzilla laying eggs.
It's a stupid movie compared to all the other Godzillas. But you know what? When it's on, shit. Because I'm just like, this is stupid. It's so bad. It's
big
good.
Dummy.
It's so bad. It's good. It really is. It's to the point where just like, cool. I can see Godzilla blowing up a city. But I also get to listen to a guy say, he was hiding in the building. Okay, this is really stupid. But, anytime you can see Ferris Bueller fight Godzilla, I'll watch it for a moment or two.
I won't.
No? It was really bad. It's a really bad movie.
It's a weird thing with the fan base, because actually that Godzilla, of course, there was a cartoon based off that Godzilla. Mm-hmm. And Godzilla actually did, that Godzilla made an appearance in Godzilla Final Wars, where it was a lot of parts and cuts from a lot of different movies and added them together. And it was basically like a big, like a Royal Rumble club fight. And he got his ass beat by the real Godzilla. Yep. And that was just kind of like a middle finger to the American Godzilla. So yeah, fuck that Godzilla. It's kind of split with a lot of the Godzilla fan base. Some recognize it, some still count it because it's a different blah, blah, blah. I don't give a shit about it. I think it's garbage. But anyways.
I love the cover in King of the Monsters, though. The Godzilla song. Whoa, whoa, whoa. that Godzilla song that plays with it, the rock song.
Are you talking about the one with Saint the? Yeah, so
dude, the cover of that was fucking
the
dope.
That's
was dope.
a Serge Tankian from
Yes.
System of the Down.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah, no, that's a really good song.
When that soundtrack came out, I downloaded it right away, and that was the first lead
Blue
song.
Oyster Cult, that's what it was. Yeah,
Blue
right.
Oyster Cult. Yeah, dude, when that soundtrack came out, I listened to it. I was like, man, that's a fucking dope ass cover.
Go Godzilla. Is that really Blue Oyster Cult?
The original?
Yeah.
Oh,
Edgar Winter Green, I think, or something like that, isn't it?
But anyway,
yeah,
that track was awesome. And then after that, the guy that scored that movie is Bear McCreary, and I think he did Deep Space Nine. He's a really, really good composer. And then right after that played was the original Godzilla song from like 1954. It was like the original one.
Oh yeah, and then it gets to that part.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, oh my
So it
gosh,
starts
the
out-
original was so good.
Yeah,
It was so good.
Yeah, they did a great job with that. So
Bear McCreary killed it with that soundtrack. It was really good.
it's a great soundtrack, and I do listen to it very often. And I know you were for a while too.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, very excited about it. Clearly, I could talk about this. We've gotten through the speculation. There's a lot of good stuff going on. The last thing I want to say is that what I like that Legendary has done is they've created a common thread through these, which is Monarch.
Yep.
And there are rumors now that they might do a Monarch TV series on one of the streaming platforms.
It's got to be HBO. It'd
have to be HBO.
Yeah.
And that I like that idea because it could live in that world, be kind of like how Disney Plus is doing with some of the MCU movies, like their TV series. You could have Monarch be like just a TV series getting into it.
I'll be down
And you
with
could
that.
because there's a lot of time between Kong and like 2014 where Monarch could just be discovering stuff. Somebody did mention King Caesar. I knew you were going to be you too, Blanco. Fucker. But very exciting. They have a lot of possibilities they could do that, and they could still keep it in the world and not necessarily need to see them on the big screen, but you could have like the Baragons, the King Caesars, and stuff like that as well.
Dude,
too.
wouldn't it be pretty dope if they got into the Monarch thing? Maybe it was like prior to Kong. Maybe get John Goodman in there.
I was just going to say that, but
I love John, but I think
the
he got
problem
pieced
is
out
he was
early in
way
Monarch.
early
Yeah, he was
pieced out,
yeah.
early pieced out. But you could have some of the other characters back, like maybe Tom Hiddleston or Brie
Yes,
Larson come
Brie
back.
Larson,
Maybe
yeah.
they sign up and they work for Monarch for a while. So
That'd be pretty sweet, man. I love John. I'm just a huge John Goodman fan.
Yeah.
I loved him back in there, and the roles that he's taken on lately. He's just John Goodman. In my opinion, is one of the most underrated actors in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
The man has screen presence, and obviously, I'm biased because I'm a huge fan of Big Lebowski as Walter Sobchak. One of my favorite, if not my favorite, John Goodman character ever is Walter
Absolutely.
Sobchak. I mean, I feel like that's his definitive role. He's incredible in that movie, and I would love to see John Goodman be a part of this. But like you mentioned, because of what happens in Skull Island, obviously it'd be difficult because it would be everything prior to that. When the more interesting stuff is afterwards.
Brother,
I
was going to bring that up. He was fucking hilarious in that, Kronos.
He was
no joke.
10. Boom, there you go. Tricky region. 10
Cloverfield
Lane.
Yep.
I'm telling you, man, John Goodman. Get him a fucking movie with a good script and a character that fits his ability. He'll win a fucking Oscar.
Dude, he's so good.
He's so good. John Goodman is an incredible actor. Huge fan. Huge fan. Anything else you want to say? When does this come out? Is it March 31st now? Didn't it get
29th,
pushed back?
31st is the end of March. Really excited.
2 weeks after, or is it 1 week after the Snyder Cut? I think it's a week.
Yeah,
the
Snyder
Snyder
Cut's
Cut.
around that time,
I think it's a week.
Yeah.
Captain Spaulding, The Big Lebowski, in my opinion, is the best movie ever made.
On the mouse pad.
What's it? Oh yeah. See the mouse pad. I got everyone on there. You got Donnie, the dude, Walter, Jesus, and the Stranger. Love it. It's seriously one of my favorite movies ever, man. I absolutely love The Big Lebowski. It's the one movie where I don't care what I'm looking for on TV. If it's on, we're watching it. I have to watch it. It's one of the most quotable movies I've ever seen. I mean, I can quote that movie all day. It's an amazing movie. I love The Big Lebowski.
Kronos,
Not a fan. I think it's overrated. Okay, Kronos. Can you put Kronos in timeout forever, Cuddles? That'd be great.
I'd also like to point out that the mouse pad here, while it's very good, doesn't move very well because the sticky trackball in this thing.
But that's
don't black like this room is what I'm trying to get at.
That's irrelevant. That's irrelevant.
Don't black like the room, ladies and gentlemen.
Anything else you want to add about Kong?
No, I'm very excited. I love kaiju movies, and I grew up with Godzilla and can't get enough of this shit. I will watch Toho, Showa. I don't have an allegiance to either of them. I kind of lean towards Showa because I really like the early 2000s Godzilla. I'm a big fan of that look with the white eyeballs. The end. Love it.
Badass.
I'm very hyped.
Now, before we get to our next topic, we got to set it up nice and neat.
Yes.
Next week, on Friday, Willy's Wonderland.
Willy's Wonderland. Are you sure it's
Nicholas
Wally or Willy?
I'm going with Willy. I think it's Willy because I just bought the fucking T-shirt.
Did you buy that?
I did.
You
I bought that
Okay.
T-shirt.
I think
dude.
it's Wally though.
I think it's Willy or Wally. It's whatever. It doesn't
You
matter.
don't
It's
know?
Nick Cage. I don't care. It's a Nick Cage movie. I don't care. I think it's Willy's Wonderland now.
I think it's
But anyways,
Wally.
It probably is Wally's. I want to say. I think it is Wally because of Wally World. I was thinking of Wally World from Vacation. I think it's Wally's Wonderland.
That's what I call
shit what it is.
Walmart. Cut that out. I don't like Walmart.
Everyone knows now that you go to Walmart.
Oh.
But obviously Nick Cage, that's the big movie next week. But we found out this week that at Sundance, they premiered another Nicolas Cage movie. And this one is already sitting at a 76 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Really?
A very respectable score. Willy's Wonderland. Thank you. A very respectable score for this type of movie. Let's talk a little bit about Prisoners of the Ghostland. Guys and gals, when I first seen people start talking about this on Twitter because it premiered at Sundance, there was a lot of excitement and a lot of hype. People started talking about it. And then I got into when I started reading stuff, here are some of the comparisons. Here's what people are comparing this movie to. And if this doesn't give you an erection or make you moist, I don't know what will. They compared this to Escape from New York, one of John Carpenter's classic movies with Kurt Russell, Mad Max, samurai films. They mentioned some Army of Darkness comparisons. This thing blew up at Sundance.
That's a lot of things to put together.
And immediately after the showing, RLJE Films,
Ooh.
the same people who quickly picked up Mandy, Color Out of Space, and VFW.
All movies we are super fans of here.
Major fans. This thing got a lot of buzz going at Sundance. And I want you to listen to this synopsis. This is what this movie's about.
No, he doesn't panic.
Set in the treacherous frontier city of Samurai Town. Sweet name for a city.
I'm already sold on that, by the way.
Where a ruthless bank robber, Nicolas Cage, by the way, his name in this movie is Hero.
Yeah.
That's his name, Hero.
Sold on it already.
Is sprung from jail by a wealthy warlord, the governor, whose adopted granddaughter, Bernice, has gone missing. The governor offers the prisoner his freedom in exchange for retrieving the runaway. Strapped in a leather suit that will self-destruct in 3 days, there's your Escape from New York comparisons, the bandit sets off on a journey to find the young woman and his own path to redemption. Now, as we're flipping through the scripts, as you can see here, this stars Nicolas Cage. I want to say her name is Sophia Boutella. Now, the name Nick Cassavetes, I don't know if you know who that is, and you'll see him here in a moment in this picture where Nicolas Cage is wielding a shotgun and there's a guy standing behind him. Nick Cassavetes' character is named Psycho in this movie. It's awesome. So there's Hero and there's Psycho. Nick Cassavetes is the guy in Face Off who's like, you want to take his face off. Yeah, he's an awesome character. You guys, this movie sounds fucking bonkers. Now, this is directed by Shion Sono, a prolific Japanese filmmaker. Now, if you want to understand the type of director and the type of movie you're probably going to get here, look up the movie The Suicide Club on YouTube, the subway suicide scene, and you'll kind of get a real good idea of what this director's about. And it matches up with the comments that people were making on social media that this is a violent movie.
Yeah.
It takes place in a post-apocalyptic world. And the best thing I've read, Gonzo Nick Cage. Crazy ass Nick Cage, dude. And I'm hyped, dude. This Nick Cage continues to just take these chances.
Are they chances at this point?
No, this is calculated.
He
has
found himself a
Yep.
complete niche.
Yep. And when you take a director like this, the Sono fellow, who is very much comparable to the Cosmatos guy that directed Mandy, just a unique vision, gives you a different perspective on things, and takes the violence to the nth degree, This movie's gonna be fucking nuts.
Mandy is straight fucking rock and roll.
Mandy is out of all the movies that Nick Cage has made since Face Off, which I still feel like is one of his best movies ever.
Oh, yeah,
Face Off is an incredible movie.
Cats Troy.
But since Face Off, Mandy is Nick Cage's best movie. I love Color Out of Space. Sure, Willy's Wonderland will be really good, and who knows, that might take the cake.
The parents.
The parents. Great, mom and dad.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Great movie. And everything before Face Off, like I love Raising Arizona. I mean, he's got a lot of great movies.
City of Angels,
Con Air, The Rock. I mean, Leaving Las Vegas. The guy, you know Nick Cage.
Yeah.
But Mandy,
Mandy is fucking rock and roll.
Amazing,
it's punk rock.
That's the first. That was the first RJLE movie that I saw. Because if you look at their catalog of movies, RJLE movies before that, there were a lot of B horror thrillers. But Mandy is the one that was like, oh, these guys can spot talent. Let's get some of these wild movies in here. Color Out of Space.
Yeah.
VFW. They take these actors who are either older actors, but they're talented, they're good actors. They put them in scenes and movies where, like, this fits what their abilities can do, and it just makes a good movie.
Because they're wild fucking movies. King, we are actually, so I'm glad you brought that up. This is the Banter and Babble is actually.
We're secretly.
Yeah, we're transitioning. Yeah, we are. We're transitioning into a Nicolas Cage strictly web show.
One
podcast.
true God. We work for that. We work for that Reddit page.
Yeah. The true paradigm of acting. Yeah.
But no, just the description of this movie, and seeing the response. If Nick Cage doesn't follow me, then I have no hope in this world. Hey, who knows? Dude, imagine if Nick Cage is sitting right here.
We should probably go back, clip all the stuff we've said about Nick Cage, praising him, and we should probably. He doesn't use Twitter, but
he doesn't. I'll send a fucking email to his publicist, which is probably him.
Do it, or you're a bitch.
Ooh, when you talk dirty to me like that. But no, this looks open. Now, we don't have a trailer for this yet. I scoured everywhere. There's no trailer for it yet. RJLE picked this up. They will be distributing the movie. Now, I don't know when that'll be. It premiered on January 31st at Sundance. I don't know what kind of turnaround that time is from a Sundance movie to, streaming services or theaters or whatever they're going to do with it. Hopefully it's soon. But, some of these movies, I think Color Out of Space, that was an October release, wasn't it? I know Mandy was like
Color Out of Space.
Yeah.
That was last late winter.
Late winter. Okay.
Well, it was like January, February.
Just send him a script. He will take anything, and that's kind of the way he is. But I think he does look at he wants to find these movies that are just.
Well, the difference with him is he gets it. He's in on the joke.
Oh, yeah, he knows. He's in on the bit. He knows what's going on.
People want to see him do Nick Cage.
And I mean, that's kind of brilliant. I mean, dude, people are talking about Nick. Dude, you look at Nick Cage, who went to VOD. He was video on demand for a long time. And you look at what Bruce Willis is doing at video on demand. You mention a Nick Cage movie, everyone gets fucking hyped. Why? Because Nick Cage is in that movie from start to finish. He is committed to it. He is into it. Bruce Willis movies, beginning, somewhere in the middle, at the end. And it's a half-assed promo. There's a difference between what Nick Cage is doing and what Bruce Willis is doing. Nick Cage might be taking these lesser films, these smaller budget films, these crazier films, but he is using his ability. Bruce Willis doesn't have Nick Cage ability as an actor. He really doesn't. Bruce Willis
He's just an old curmudgeon now.
Bruce Willis is a fucking loser. I hate Bruce Willis now. I used to love Bruce Willis. Die Hard was one of the greatest movies ever made.
Curmudgeon.
And then I hear about Cop Out from Kevin Smith, and you're like, okay, he's a scumbag.
And then he was on videotape being a scumbag.
Yeah,
hey, so real quick before we move on from this and to keep this kind of on top of Nick Cage, and now he's got another movie coming out soon that
yes, I didn't want to talk about this one too.
Doesn't have. I don't think it has a trailer for that yet either.
It doesn't. No, this one's early in development.
This one, well, I think this one's isn't this so soon release as well too?
I don't know if it's soon release.
I thought IMDb said it was a soon release.
Oh, I thought IMDb.
They just don't have a trailer. They don't have a trailer for it.
Have you seen that Kaka space trailer for Cosmic Sin? I have not seen that.
So if anybody's familiar with JCVD on Amazon Prime, first of all, you need to watch.
What is that? What is JC? Is it Jean-Claude
Van Damme plays basically Jean-Claude Van Damme, who's secretly like a FBI CIA agent in a complete. It's a spoof of himself, clowning on himself in all his movies, and it's amazing. Like, it's amazing. There's a point where he's doing stuff like I don't want to get it.
Dance?
No, but JCVD is fucking amazing. Well, Nick Cage has a movie coming out. Cuddles, I don't know if you can check out IMDb. It's a movie I thought it was supposed to be releasing soon. We have no trailer for it.
Nothing. I don't think there's a poster for it. There was nothing on IMDb.
He's got a movie coming out that is his JCVD movie, and it's like coming soon, like this spring.
Really?
And he's basically the premise is that some rich cartel guy in like Mexico hires him to come in, brings his family in, and wants him to do like something for somebody's birthday or something. And he's like, well, I need the money. I'll do this, whatever. He goes down there, and it's like a shtick. Like they capture him. Kind of think like Jack from Tropic Thunder, where they want him to do like they want him to play his main character.
Simple Jack.
Yeah, Simple Jack. Yeah. So JCVD, and here we go. Nick Cage ends up playing roles from movies he wasn't in, like he does like a character from like Pulp Fiction and shit like this.
Yep.
So there's a movie. Yeah, I don't know if you can find it, Cuddles. I can't think of. I had it in the chat earlier this last couple weeks, but so that we've got that on the horizon too, and I can't even recall the name, but it's supposed to be out. I thought this spring. No trailer.
It's probably one of those things where Nick Cage just drops and everyone goes fucking nuts. I feel like right now at this point, anything that Nick Cage is in has a high probability of becoming a cult classic of some sort.
Yeah, absolutely. And like if there's a guy outside of Jean-Claude Van Damme who can clown on himself, who needs to like the unbearable weight of massive talent.
The unbearable weight of massive talent.
If there's anybody else that needs his own JCVD, it's definitely Nick Cage.
Yeah.
So there we are.
No, I don't think you're wrong.
2021.
And Pikachu, I love Fifth Element as well. It's one of the last great Bruce Willis movies.
Absolutely.
The Fifth Element is fucking
one of the
incredible.
all-time greatest sci-fi flicks too.
And you want to know what's crazy? Gary Oldman hates that movie.
He does.
He says it's unbearable.
Yep.
Which is crazy, but he actually did it as a favor to Luke Besson because Luke Besson funded one of his previous movies, and so Luke Besson was, "Hey, will you be in this movie for me?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." He fucking hates it.
Yeah,
but it was funny because somebody said, "Do you realize it's a cult classic now?" And he's like, "Fucking weird, dude." He's like, "It's crazy," but hey, that's how it is. But yeah, Gary Oldman is he is a treasure. Gary Oldman is an amazing actor. I love Gary Oldman. I'm a huge Gary Oldman fan. I know he's got a questionable history. He said a lot of stupid shit back in the days. A lot of stupid shit, even recently. But he is, for talent-wise, as an actor.
Oh, he's amazing.
He's amazing. He commands the screen.
He was a theater actor. He's been schooled in acting. Like, the man can talk acting. When he talks acting,
I mean, I think about
like
The Professional. I think about
Scarlet
JFK,
Letter.
Scarlet Letter. I think about obviously The Fifth Element. I mean, the guy he's got so much. You know,
Batman,
one movie I have
Jim
not.
Gordon.
Yeah, he actually and it was funny. They asked him about why he did Batman. It was work. He wasn't a huge fan of it. It's really weird. Like there were like 3 or 4 movies they asked him about, the movies that he was in. And one of them was The Fifth Element, and he said didn't care for it.
That movie comes out March 19th.
When that movie comes out, really?
Told you, I thought it was soon.
See, that's Nick Cage for you, man. Every fucking month he's got some shit
do
coming
it.
out, dude.
Do it, bro.
That
go.
movie comes out March 19th.
Fucking rock and
Did
roll.
we get a fucking trailer? Shit,
That's
dude.
what they said. That there's no trailer for this fucking movie yet.
There's no trailer for this fucking movie. Prisoner of the Ghostland. Like, how is there not a trailer? It's at Sundance.
He's punk rock, man. You don't
Weird.
give a shit.
All right, moving on. How you doing?
Time.
Oh, for Christ's sakes, dude. All right, guys. Sorry, we'll be right back. What? I fucking love all of you. Thank you. And he's done.
What?
He is good to go. We're done waiting for Tone to empty his little bladder, his little wee-wee, so he's good to go.
To be fair, I have to go up like 3 stories of fucking stairs.
Get the fuck out of here.
Around 4
man.
corners. I'm in a back alley.
You could have just pissed in the fucking sump pump like I did in my dad's, and he was so mad.
I've asked you like a dozen times if I could do that.
I can't do that because my dad was so mad at me. I'd have to get mad at you. Dude, like seriously, my buddies and I, we were pissing in that thing for like days straight during the summer. We played Goldeneye downstairs, and we would just go piss in the sump pump. And I remember my dad was so
Golden
pissed.
shower after
Golden
too.
shower, zing! God, you're a fucking loser. All right, we are moving on.
To be fair.
Moving on, we're gonna talk about some video games. First up, I actually made my way through TheMedium, which is like the first big Xbox exclusive on Xbox Series X. And apparently it's not on last gen because you were like, hey, man, I'll play this too so I can talk about it. Not on Xbox One.
No idea.
So, yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about TheMedium. We'll try to avoid some spoilers, just talk about it in a general sense. I had to unpack a little bit with this game. There was the story, and it's very much kind of like The Last of Us 2 with its storytelling. It's not straightforward. You get your opening, like, okay, look, here's what you're doing. You're going to this place. But then as you're making your way through the game, you're learning all sorts of new stuff in various different ways, not just from the main character's perspective, from other characters' perspectives, but TheMedium is a third-person psychological horror game from the developer Bloober team, and they have made games like Layers of Fear,
Bloober,
Observer, Blair Witch Project, and based on my past experiences with their games, especially Layers of Fear, the one thing I will always credit this studio for is their ability to drum up a very engaging story. They are expert story writers. They write stories with a deft hand. They're very, very, very good in terms of storytelling. Dude, it's huge, especially for a game like this that isn't so much focused on combat. There are a few elements here and there, but it's very minimal compared to something like Resident Evil, which there are comparisons to Resident Evil. It's a third-person game. You're walking through areas. You're trying to solve puzzles. There's monsters and whatnot. But the combat is much more subdued. There's a very few instances, but it's very minimal. Prime says it plays like a Telltale's game. It's very similar to something like that. It's more about what you're learning and going through and experiencing the story. And Bloober team does it again. They deliver a great story. My only issue with Bloober team with some of their previous titles, especially Layers of Fear, is their ability to optimize a game and get it to run properly. Layers of Fear, when I was with Short Pause, that was like one of our first big reviews that we got to do. We got a code from them to review the game. I was like, oh man, this is fucking dope. So we got in there and played it. And I scored it low simply because, man, in the last, probably the last quarter of the game, the frame rate tanked. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. It pulled me out of an experience. And when a game is trying to grab a hold of you with its story and the game is completely falling apart in terms of performance, I was like, fuck, dude, what is going on? Pikachu, some people had a few glitches in TheMedium. That doesn't surprise me. Obviously, again, Bloober team, very talented with the pen when it comes to writing a story. Not quite there with optimization. However, I will say this. I have not played The Observer, and I really want to play that. My understanding is that thing runs almost flawless on the PS5 and on Xbox Series X. My understanding is Observer is a fantastic running game, and that's something I might have to look into at some point, because that has Rutger Hauer in it, which is fucking awesome. Rutger Hauer is an Observer, and that's one reason I really want to check that out. Tricky Reed says, mine runs... Tricky, I was actually reading online on Twitter, they released a patch recently on PC that just about tanked the performance. Yeah, I guess it wasn't too bad prior to that.
Wait, I might be able to play it on PC now?
You might be able to, but it tanks the performance of the game on PC, which is unfortunate. It's a bummer, but...
Oh, yeah, so really, PC things... Because, well, I'll get to that in a second, but man, okay. I didn't realize that was a thing on PC.
I told you it was. It's probably I said it's on Game Pass. It's probably on PC as well.
Well, no, I know. But I tried playing it.
Did
I tell you that?
I remember you did say it was running like shit.
Like, even on low settings, I was like, "What the fuck?"
They
is going on?
released something that something. There was everyone's like they released something that fucked the game up. Like it's trash right now.
Yeah, because
like
on PC. I don't have a Series X right now. There's just not enough games up there that I'm worried about.
6-piece Nux is not really bad issues. RTX 3070. Yeah, well, when you're in the upper echelon, I would hope it would run somewhat
He actually
decent.
has only one of his kidneys now. He sold one of them for that.
We'll be hearing from the 6-piece Nug here in a little bit, but the story of the medium is Marianne. You play as Marianne, expertly voiced by Kelly Burke as well. Now, don't get me wrong. Troy Baker's in this game. Troy Baker, who was Joel in The Last of Us, one of the most prolific voice actors in gaming. Like, he's right up there with Nolan North.
Higgs Monaghan in fucking Death Stranding. Go on.
He was also Batman. He was also, I believe, he was Batman in what was the one that wasn't from
Batman Origins.
Origins. Yep, I think he was
he
in
Batman
that. I don't
in
know
that?
if he was Batman, but he had a huge role in that game. He might have been Joker.
Isn't he also in Borderlands?
I don't know if he's in Borderlands. He's not. Is he Handsome Jack? He's not Handsome Jack, is he? That's interesting. Anyways, he was Joker. Thank you, Blanco. Yeah, like Troy Baker is just an incredible voice. He's very, very good at what he does.
What he does, yeah.
And he plays Maul. He's like the demon entity that's chasing you through this game, and it's very, very creepy. He says some really weird shit. But basically, Marianne is a medium, which means she has the ability to project herself into a spirit plane as well as the material plane, which I believe is what it's called in this one. So she can kind of like enter both planes and kind of help these spirits who are trapped there that weren't able to leave upon death. And she is haunted at the beginning of the game. She's haunted by these visions of a girl getting murdered on a dock. And after that, after her adoptive father passes away, she gets a call saying, "Hey, look, I know who you are. I know what you are, and I need your help. I need you to come to the Nebo Resort." So you go to this abandoned resort, and you're trying to discover who this person is that's calling you. And you go to this resort, and it's cool because you're not just playing as Marianne, even though she is the central protagonist. She's an important part of the story, a very important part of the story. And again, I'm not going to get into spoilers because it just released, but overall, the story was really, really good. Like there's a lot to unpack. There is a lot to unpack. There's a whole lot going on in this game. Like I said, it's not a straightforward game. It's much like The Last of Us 2, where you're just kind of like gaining information from different characters and different scenarios, where it's kind of piecing everything together. The other thing I want to mention about the medium that's super important: explore every nook and cranny. There's a lot of collectibles, postcards,
Love that
notes.
shit. Love that shit.
That explains a lot of lore, but not just lore about the world, but actual characters that gives you a little insight to what's going on at the Nebo Resort.
Oh.
And, it gives you a look into the motive of certain characters, of what they're doing, why they're doing it, a lot of backstory, and it's really important to look it up.
Do you think that's lazy storytelling?
I don't think it's lazy. I mean, if it was shitty writing, like if it was empty stuff, yes, I would say it's lazy storytelling, but it is really, really good. Now, I don't know what kind of like development costs were here. Had they created more scenes to explain that stuff, might have been interesting.
Because the game's short.
It's very short. It's an 8-hour game, and I have to wonder, and I don't know if Prime feels the same way about this, but there's been some, I would say, fair comparisons to this being a walking simulator. Marianne and every character you control walks very slow.
You did call it a Telltale game.
You do have the ability to run faster. I'm not even going to call it a fucking sprint. It's a light jog. I have to believe if you had any ability to sprint in this game, it would have been completed much, much sooner. But you're walking from story to story. Yeah, I understand. You're walking, and it helps that the worlds that they've created, especially in the spirit plane, there are a lot of like wild areas to explore, but it's still very linear. I hate the light jog BS in games. I'm not a fan of it either. I kind of wish you could, because I mean, there's a lot of instances between collectibles where you're just walking, and I feel that it creates some pacing issues with the story. Like, let me get to the next collectible or the next piece of lore faster,
right,
so I can enjoy this. And I feel like the light jog, and I don't want to say that was the intent, but honestly, God, if you could run faster in this game, it probably wouldn't have taken 8 hours of it. It probably would have taken like 7 or 6.
So
it's a shorter game, but the plus side of that is it's a part of Game Pass. You can go and download it. And again, Bloober Team is exceptional at storytelling. And there is a really, really good story here. It's really engaging. There's a lot of things as the information trickles out and you learn things from certain characters. And as the events unfold, you're just like, oh, shit. And multiple times, as I'm streaming it, Josh was in there and Pikachu was in there. We're bouncing ideas off each other like, man, what does this mean? Or who is this character really? Mm-hmm. Who is this spirit related to? I mean, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of good stuff in this game, but it does have its faults. I didn't experience any kind of like technical issues. I mean, there were some very small ones, but nothing that kind of like took me out. Not like what I experienced with Layers of Fear.
Right.
It's a good story, but the combat, when you have something like Maw, you would kind of hope to have some like a more engaging combat. You're just basically running and hiding from them, so it's kind of like that's cool too, but the story is strong enough for like, it's worth the playthrough. Now, would I have paid $60 or $70 for this game? Probably
I think it's $50 outside of Game Pass.
Outside of Game Pass, it's $50.
Yeah,
okay,
like
well, that's
$50.
good then. But it was just kind of like the combat system is a little just underwhelming considering the people you're going up against, but overall it was a good story. It's a good. It's definitely worth a playthrough.
That's where I'm at. Like, I want to play it. I don't have a Series X right now. My PC on canIRunIt.com says I can't run it, but I was starting to run it, and I think I could have played through it. But I'm like, what's up with the frame rate? But now that you're saying something wrong with the PC upgrade to it recently, I wonder if maybe I need to have that fixed, and maybe I might be able to play it even on low settings. I just want to experience the story.
Whatever update they put out tanked the game for a lot of people. It was like universal just about that. The game is not running really, really good on PC after this latest update.
Right. I definitely want to play it. That was one of the few games for Series X.
I mean, it's really cool, man, the way you play the game and how you're kind of like there's two different planes at the same time. On top of the
frame rate, there it is right there. That was the problem I was having with it.
Yeah, and like the top part of the screen is like, the spirit world, and the bottom side of the screen is the material world, and certain things you do in each world can affect the other world. I mean, there's a lot of cool concepts in this game. Yeah, it's a lot of cool concepts, but I still think Bloober Team is this close. They haven't quite hit their... then again, I haven't played Observer, and a lot of people have said Observer is fucking awesome. I have not played Observer.
They're consistent, it sounds like, at the very least.
They're very consistent. It's just they struggle with the optimization portion. That's going to be... my understanding is Blair Witch didn't run particularly well when it first came out. I can tell you Layers of Fear didn't run very well. On Xbox Series X, this game runs at 30 frames. It holds pretty good. I didn't experience any like major stutters. I wasn't really looking for me. I was more like engrossed by the world. I was like, "Oh, this is a really pretty."
It looked really good, and now there's a lot of Silent Hill comparisons, and that's fair because, as you all know, the original guy that did the sound for Silent Hill was involved in this. They brought him in.
Yep, he's got some. They have some Silent Hill DNA in the studio,
which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a look. I had a lot of fun with it. Its story will hit you, and it probably is worth a second playthrough if you want to try to go through and find all the collectibles and maybe fill in some loose ends that maybe some stuff that you didn't quite. They're a 3-star team with 4-star. Absolutely, they're like Prime. Like, I really hope at some point Bloober Team either gets picked up by one of the big publishers, either Microsoft, Sony. Stay away from Nintendo. I don't want any of that shit on the Switch. But get picked up by a big publisher where they get those unlimited resources. Maybe get a better engine to work with.
Bring a gameplay tester in like me.
Get Tone in there to fucking make it even worse. Yeah, I mean, it's just they're really close. Bloober Team reminds me a lot of Spiders. The same developer that made like Greedfall and Technomancer.
Yeah,
they're expert storytellers.
Yeah, they're
working with minimal resources right now. They don't have the best expertise when it comes to game development.
Technomancer's a really cool concept too.
Technomancer could have been really, really good, but the gameplay itself and the mechanics of the game were just a little underwhelming. Greedfall, I'm waiting for that next gen upgrade. They're coming out with one for the Xbox Series X.
I'm waiting for it too because
I will fucking play that.
Wasn't that free on PlayStation recently?
Was it a Plus game? I feel like it was. I think you're right. I think it was. It was.
Yeah.
So Spiders is another they're very much like Bloober Team. They're talented writers. They create great worlds. They create great stories. Just not quite there yet on the optimization side and developing.
Let's hope they get there.
I hope they get there too. They're really, really good. So Cuddles says it's on Game Pass. Greedfall. Check it out. Greedfall is really good. Wait for the big update. Wait for the next gen update.
That's my plan.
So you can get that at 60 frames in the higher resolution or whatever else they do
hopefully
to it.
A Halo version of it.
But overall, worth the playthrough. I really liked it. I think it was really good. I can't wait to see what they do next. I actually saw one of their developers on Twitter today said they are now hiring for the next big project. So they're working on something new. Good for them. They made all their money back already based on the sales and the Game Pass stuff. They've already made all their money back. All their marketing costs, everything's good to go. So
Righteous.
really excited for them. Can't wait to see what they work on next. We're going to stick with gaming news for just a moment. One thing I have to talk about. It was big news this week. Kind of caught everyone off guard because we thought this baby was dead. We thought it was dead.
Well, since 2014, it surely has been dead.
A long time since we've seen an NCAA football game. A long time. 2014, despite the fact that the cover boy was Denard Robinson, Jay Hill, and I'm sure Prime are like, he was so good. He's a terrible quarterback.
Yeah,
great athlete.
What have we heard about him since then?
No, we haven't. You know why? He's a terrible quarterback.
Terrible quarterback.
But I digress. EA Sports this week announced college football is coming back. And
asterisk.
there's an asterisk here, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But this is really exciting for me because, honestly, man, outside of SOCOM 2, leading up to Destiny, NCAA football was probably my most played multiplayer game because of the online dynasties. I can't tell you how many classes in college that I skipped because I had to get my recruiting done before my brother or my cousin or somebody else in our league started recruiting that running back. I had to get in there and recruit hard before the season started. There were some really cool RPG elements. I would call that RPG. If you're managing stuff and you're trying to recruit and bring in people to your squad,
right?
That's RPG elements. And that was fucking sweet. You would sit there and see, my brother's recruiting this running back, but I want him. And so now you're trying to pitch to that running back. You got to go out there and perform on the field. You got to give them incentive to come to your school. You're battling. Dude, this is obviously back in like 2000 and when we were really heavy in online leagues, it was like back in 2004 or 5. We're sending emails back. I'd get done with class, go to the email lab, go there, and there would be just an email chain, people talking shit. Stay the fuck away from my running back.
PS2?
This was like PS2, PS3 era, like stuff like that. Like,
yeah, early.
I think PS3 came out in
2006.
Was it
2005?
Maybe it was 2002 they had a league, too. It was 2002. It was right towards the end of my college career, and I realized I'm just not...
It would have been PS2 era.
Was it PS2? Yeah, I mean, it was just like I said, man, we spent a lot of time talking shit, getting into it. So I was really hyped about that. But... So EA came out and said, yo, college football is coming back. But, not get too high.
Asterisk.
No, here's the asterisk. Here's the first part. There was a website that came out, put out a bunch of information. Prime Direct sent it to us, and there's some good information here. Here are the two pieces that are really important. First of all, the NCAA still prohibits its players from profiting in any way from their role as student athletes, though the organization is currently considering changing those rules and legislative pressure from states like California. EA says it's continuing to watch those developments closely. Now, that's interesting because in the post for this game on EA's website, they said probably not going to be this year, might not even be next year. They get everyone excited. Now, there's a reason for this because, look, I think Matt Piscatella on Twitter, who covers a lot of video game news and sales and whatnot, NCAA football is like the fourth highest game in terms of generating profits. It's one of the most popular sports titles ever.
Because they ain't got to pay anybody for it.
No, right. Yeah, and I mean but it sells like crazy. There was
right.
Dude, when NCAA football and Madden were coming out at the same time, there was a massive audience that wouldn't even fucking waste their time with Madden.
Towards the end in 2014, I know people that work in those industries.
Yep,
those were selling more than Madden.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a lot of excitement because of all the everything that is involved in an NCAA football game. So that's interesting to watch because EA now says it's continuing to watch those developments closely. And I'll tell you why that is. Second part of this article says, though the NCAA and its players won't be directly involved in this new game, EA is working with the Collegiate Licensing Company for imagery and trademarks associated with the included schools, which is about 100 programs, 100 schools that are involved. But some of the most important trappings of the college football season, such as the conference system and bowl games, seemingly won't be covered by that per-school licensing agreement. So, if they were to push out NCAA football this year, there's a probability you won't see Big Ten, you won't see the Pac-10, you won't see SEC, you won't see any of the
fuck the
conferences.
SEC. We don't care.
You won't see bowl games. So there would be a lot missing, which is why we go back to this. EA is continuing to watch those developments closely because if that legislation, if all that stuff changes, Now EA's going to be like, cool, we got conferences.
Green light.
We got bowl games. We got players likeness, and players are getting paid, which they should.
They should.
But this is exciting, man. To have NCAA football come back. I had people texting me this week that have since retired from gaming. These guys are older like my age. They've got families and stuff. And I sent this tweet out to 6 weeks now, you got to go to bed. It's seriously the next topic. But if you got to go to bed, I understand. We'll get you in on the next show, buddy. I know we've gone long, but I appreciate you, man. I'm sorry. If you can wait just a moment, we can get you on. Up to you. I'll let you decide. Without the NCAA license, though, dude, they can add any customization suites, though, so they would allow you to add logos. Yeah, but I mean, they're going to add logos, but you're not going to be able to add, like, Michigan State or Michigan. You're not gonna, you can add, yeah, I understand that part of it, but I want the whole thing. I don't want, like, to put down Michigan State Spartans and have it be, like, a green orb, or Michigan Wolverines and have it be a dog. You know, they're not going to give you a Spartan. They're not going to give you a Spartan head in the customization. Like, oh, well, you know, we can't put Michigan State Spartans, but here's the Spartan head. You know, I want this to be
They used to do that with wrestling games.
And Forgehammer, I know Forgehammer knows this too, is because what made the other NCAA football games are awesome. The Power 5 schools, yeah, but I want everything, bro. I want everything, Forge. I want everything. I don't want a mixture of this and that. I want everything, and that's why they need to. I'm cool with EA waiting this out a little bit for the CLC and for everything else to be included with it. But the reason that the thing that I've always loved about the NCAA games, they would launch and you would have just player jersey numbers, their numbers, and some similar likeness. You know, their ability.
Right.
You know, you wouldn't know that it was Clarice. What was his name? Clarice Moret or whatever his name was, the running back for Ohio State.
I don't.
Anywho,
that's too much for me.
You know, you wouldn't know that it was him. You wouldn't have his name, but the stats for that player would be through the roof. You're like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I know who that is. But there was always a group of people that would get together and they would create the rosters for every fucking
and
team.
you can fucking just download them.
And you can download
Yeah.
them. And then, boom, you've got names for everybody.
Yeah.
So that was the dope part of it. Maurice Claret, thank you. And thanks, Forge. And that was like the coolest thing. You go in there and you download the roster. Like, I got everybody here. And then you can play through everything, through every season until you get to the fourth year and you're like, all of a sudden, now it's just made up names. But that was the beauty of NCAA football, man. The community worked together to create the rosters, and they were pretty much on point. They were pretty. I mean, people would go in there and tweak stats a little bit. They look at 40 times, and they look at how much they can bench. You know, this guy's strength's a little bit higher. He should be a little bit faster. They do little tweaks. I always appreciated that. I always liked that about the NCAA football series. But this is exciting. Overall, I'm really excited about this. The fact that NCAA football is coming back.
Yeah, man. A lot of people are hype.
A lot of people are hyped, and rightfully so. I can't fucking stand Madden football. I can't stand. I played the recent one. I was like, I can't stand this shit. Give me my NCAA football back. Let me get into an online dynasty with some friends. Get in there, talk shit, do some recruiting. That's all I want to do, man. That's all I want to do. I'm really excited about this. So hopefully this pans out. But
hopefully,
for the sake of six-piece nugs, let's move into yes, here we go. The next topic, and I know this is something they kept up the 2014 version. Yeah, dude, they took 2014 version. They kept working on the rosters.
Yeah, I know.
It was wild.
It's fucking
wild,
dope.
Man.
Panic's a huge NCAA player as
dude,
well.
Dude, he was one of the first guys that responded on Twitter. He was hyped. I was like, fuck yeah, dude. This is dope.
Yep.
But let's get into the next topic. I know this is one that we're excited about. We're going to have a huge episode this week. That's WandaVision.
To try and follow up the huge one we had last week.
Dude, last week's episode was crazy. But Tone, give us a quick synopsis of everything we saw in 3 and 4 before we get to 5. And then we're gonna get
six-piece
snugga in here on the call.
So 3 really kind of just continued what 1 and 2 was doing, except it really, because at the end of 2 we saw almost like Wanda's reality really kind of change for the first time in those 2 episodes and kind of progress into like a new. I mean, you saw a decade move from 1 to 2, but this was like color. You saw a progression into kind of like her kind of butting into reality and kind of being faced with that.
It's like coming from all sides now. Like there's, you know, with Agnes outside with the neighbor, or I'm sorry, Agatha. Or no, it was Agnes. Agnes is her name. She's outside with the neighbor.
Yes.
You got Vision seeing stuff. I mean, there's all sorts of shit going on.
Vision's starting to feel like
he's starting to suspect.
What he is, we don't know. But Vision's starting to figure out something's out of place. And when he's talking to the neighbors, it's starting to kind of like it's starting to click, and they're saying things that as a viewer you're like, oh, okay, well we already know clearly, but like he's starting to wake up, everybody's starting to kind of figure out, and she's dealing with the struggles of I'm kind of borderline. Is she losing control? Like we don't really know, and who's pulling some strings? Is she pulling the strings? Nobody really knows. The radio instance, at first we thought it was trying to indicate that someone's pulling strings, but then when you realize in 4, he doesn't really know that she kind of is as well too. So 3 was pretty straightforward, kind of coincided with 1 and 2, except for the fact that she did have the twins.
Yep.
That was kind of the big reveal. She ended up having twins.
Geraldine was.
It wasn't just one child. Yep, it was 2
twins. Yep.
And she figured out that Geraldine was Monica Rambeau, who is daughter of I can't think of her first name, but Photon Rambeau from Captain Marvel, yep. Which is pretty cool. So it's all linking together. We're starting to see everything kind of form, and like 4 is where everything kind of changes, because it was the
4
first
is
one.
like you get behind the curtains. 4, like you can see what's going on.
4 was literally like you saw the true Wizard of Oz behind the curtain, as you said. Like you're starting to see the true MCU pieces now forming together. Now here we go. Like what's going on in the actual world outside of the reality that Wanda is creating or being forced to create. And you got Sword prevalent now. Sword is, we hinted at, finally it's all
you
out
see
loud.
The name and everything.
Yep,
right there,
out loud is everything. It's like going to an old Shield spot, back in the old days in the MCU. So you see Monica Rambeau where, right after the blip, that was pretty cool to really reference right after, as they call it, the blip, after the snap.
Yep.
And then everything leading up to the fact where they discover, what's going on in this reality of Westview.
Yep.
Which
it doesn't really exist at all.
Right. And then
that was a wild scene when she meets up with Randall Park, or what was it, Detective Wu?
Detective Wu, one of everybody's already favorite. People now want a spin-off of this character.
Did you see what I can't remember who it was exactly. Somebody said, I want to see a Detective Wu spinoff that's similar to like X-Files.
Yes.
Where he's investigating shit. Oh my god, I was like, whoa, dude.
Yes. Jimmy Woo.
Jimmy Woo.
And the guy that plays him is amazing.
Randall Park.
Yes, and he's really funny. Like,
dude, he was in that big movie with Seth Rogen.
Yes, he was
Kim Jong-un.
He played Kim Jong-un. It's fucking hilarious. Forge knows, we fucking rented it whenever it was available. Love that movie. He's great in it, and he was, as Trick said, his kiddo pointed out the fact that that was he was the detective, or whoever he was, the police officer in Ant-Man vs. Wasp, which was pretty awesome too, or Ant-Man or whatever it was, the first Ant-Man. So it's cool the MCU's keeping that all together. Kat Dennings is coming back as her character as Darcy as well too, and she discovers that the CMBR, it's TV waves and all that stuff. So it was a real big pullback of what's going on
outside of Westview,
of Westview, and what is really going on with the episode and episodes and the strings that, like, again, is she pulling them? Who's pulling them, or whatnot?
Right. No, it was a wild episode. It was really, really good, and it's leading up to what we can understand is this episode this week is going to be massive. We saw an early trailer leading up to this episode. There's a lot of shit going on this week, but before we get into that, what we think is going to happen, we want to bring in 6-Piece Nugs from the chat for a quick call. 6-Piece, if you could, in the Discord, go right down to the hotline and jump in. And once you're in there, we will have a discussion. He's in there right now. He is in there right now. All right, we're going to bring you on. 6-Piece Nug, can you hear me?
Hey, man, how's it going?
There he is. Can you guys hear 6-Piece Nug? Yes or no? Please let me know if you can hear 6-Piece Nug. We're still trying to tweak this. 6-Piece, tell us what's going on, man.
Oh, man, I've got a lot of questions that I think I've got more answers.
Oh,
for example, what happened to the beekeeper guy?
That's a great question.
We saw her, what was her name? Monica get pulled out.
Yep, Monica got blasted up, but what happened to him?
Right, but what happened to him? Did he get rewound and then just thrown back out? Because we saw the part of the rope that was connected to him, and that came out as it was converted, right?
Yeah, it was a jump rope, wasn't it, when it came out?
My next section, which if Vision is dead and she's puppeteering him and he's alive in this world, let's say he gets pulled out, does that mean he remains alive because the stuff that gets pulled out comes out as she creates it to be? Because when Monica came out, her clothes were as she formed them to be, as the Scarlet formed them to be. So I'm thinking it's possible Vision can come back to life. This is my theory.
Ooh.
As
Dude, I didn't even fucking thinking about that.
reanimated
Some knowledge.
kind of thing. Yeah. I took some notes, man.
Dude, that's some knowledge dropping. So what do you you mentioned earlier something briefly about Agatha Agnes. Give us where you think, okay, so that's a great question because that's stuff I didn't think about. Now I clearly kind of thought maybe Vision was going to be brought back into the MCU through this show, but your questions kind of like almost connect some dots, but we don't really know for sure, right? But what you're saying, you think there's bigger things at play, right?
Yeah, so I think, okay, there's a brooch that Agnes, she has on her, I don't know, that she wears, and there's 3 people on the brooch. One person is like her, in my mind, as like this guardian that's watching over Wanda and Vision being the other 2 people, right? And she's kind of like the catalyst of keeping all this together. Because of course Scarlet wants Vision to be back and wants him to be alive and stuff, but I don't think she would have forced herself into this world 3 weeks after the blip. This is in 2023. This is 3 weeks after,
Right. Right after
I
the
guess
blip.
people
Yep.
flipped back. Yeah. So I don't know how she spiraled off so bad to create this whole thing without some like other force creating that
That's interesting.
or helping,
I never
right?
thought about
There's
that.
a whole missing persons thing, right? Who's the missing person?
Well, because
Right.
she's not on the board, right? Like when they show the board of people that are stuck in
Her and
Westview.
Dottie are not on the board at all.
Yeah, there's
So
2
I'm
people
wondering-
that Dottie's not on there at all. Dottie, there's speculation going on right now about Dottie as well too. Like, is she even really actually like a normal person, or is she a bigger player involved too?
There's a key scene where they had mentioned I believe that was at the poolside thing when the radio went off, and she was like, the devil's in the details, Bev, and then she was like, that's not the only place the devil is. So is that like a low key foreshadowing kind of thing?
That's where the
or...
Mephisto stuff comes in because he has a background as being one of the devils in MCU as well too.
Also, who the hell is Ralph? And why does Agnes always talk about him, but we've never seen him?
We haven't seen a picture of Ralph. We haven't seen Ralph as a character.
What if that's a metaphor or for Mephisto himself as well too?
Questions.
No, I'm
More questions.
I'm just really thinking about what Six Piece Nug just said about, you know, how when Geraldine came out, she had everything that she was wearing there in that world. What if
it pulled her out?
What if like somehow Vision gets bopped out and he's back?
But that would that mean he's really Vision or just a version of Vision or like a, you know?
Hey man, as long as the
like
character's
Jackie,
back, nobody
More of a
cares.
Human version of Vision.
Right. It's kind of like the what is it? Puff the Magic Dragon, the Jackie Draper meet Jackie Paper.
Oh man, Moodini thinks Dottie is the devil.
Dottie could really be Mephisto. I wouldn't be surprised by that.
Man, that's Ralph Wiggums. Me fail English? That's impossible. Six Piece, thanks, man. That's really stuff that I'm going to be thinking about, and hopefully, you know, based on, you know, obviously, I'm sure you've seen the clip for this week. Is there anything from that clip that stood out to you? Like, man, I really want to see what this is or what this is going to lead to. Did anything stand out to you?
Yeah, so first of all, I'm excited to see the next set of generations, right? Because it's went from the 50s to the 60s
Now
to
we're in
the
the 80s.
70s.
Yeah, the 80s is
So we're
next.
going to be going into the 80s and the 90s, hopefully, with the next 2 episodes. So I think we saw a little bit of clip of like some kind of Halloween thing. So we're going to get a lot of sly digs on people's costumes. A lot of people you'll be like, that was from this comic book, you know, they're wearing their alternate costume from this or whatever. So that'll be really fun.
Mhm.
And then yeah, there's definitely some stuff in that clip that I don't want to give too much away from, but
Right.
I think Vision is that he's going to be a catalyst to kind of breaking this whole thing, and him and Wanda may clash at some point.
Ooh,
Man.
shit.
Nug is getting deep, man. I'm liking this. I'm liking this. Hey, man, I appreciate you staying up, and I appreciate you sharing your thoughts. And seriously, man, thank you so much for the support. And thanks for joining us tonight, buddy.
Right on. Take care, guys.
Take care,
See you,
dude.
brother.
Dude, that was. There's a lot of shit I wasn't even thinking about.
He just come in swinging.
Wow.
Damn, yeah, we're really glad he stayed up. Shit.
And Jay Hill just mentioned that story that came out today about the Luke Skywalker reveal. I mean, obviously, yesterday I sent that link
Yeah,
to you
she was straight up like, yeah, we got something coming that's like Luke
Elizabeth
Skywalker.
Olsen said that there is a
Is
Marvel...
that hyperbole or is that reality, though?
I mean, she's hype, dude. She's hype. Tricky Regis asks, are her kids, are they evil too? Like the twins?
I don't believe so. I don't know. Well, I don't want to review. Yeah, I don't get into that because based off some of the comic stuff.
Don't say anything, Six Piece Nug. If you know the actor, don't say anything. I don't want her spoiled. I don't want it spoiled.
Yeah, no, let's not do that
If
yet.
people are leaking it out, don't tell. I bet it's Mark Hamill's Mephisto. I'd be down with that. I'd be okay with that.
Fine.
I'd be okay with that. But no, seriously, thank you, Six Piece Nug, for calling in. And honestly, anytime anybody in our Discord, any of our subscribers wants to chime in or be a part of the conversation or share your thoughts, please let us know in the Discord. We want to get you on here. We want to do this every week. We want to get more people in. It's a lot of fun getting your guys' girl thoughts. I mean, some of that shit he said, I was like, what? I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, not even some of the stuff I've read has even brought some of that up.
It's wild.
Not
man.
like that, unless.
That's wild.
Yeah. Honestly, like he said, we appreciate you guys being here and supporting any piece that you can. As a sub, you do have one of those perks. You can get on the show as well throughout when we do this on Wednesdays. Panic goes back.
I love what Panic said, dude.
I didn't even think about that. She when she kicked Monica out, she busted through 4 walls.
4th wall breaking.
Damn, boy, back into that reality.
Look at Panic coming in with that fucking knowledge,
That's hot.
dude.
That's
I
hot.
love
That's
that Monica
hotness.
literally got blown through 4 walls.
Dude.
4th wall breaking stuff. Well
Sounds like
done.
in high school.
Tell you, our community's smart, man. Community smart.
Way
stuff.
smarter than you.
Way smarter than me. All right. Anything else you want to add about WandaVision before we hit? Now, see, this is one thing I'm really digging about going to a weekly format. Is now we can dive deep into each episode every week as opposed to trying to cram in 2 episodes.
I agree.
That's going to be really, really exciting about taking Banter Babble to a weekly format is we can talk about things on a weekly basis as opposed to 2 weeks and trying to squeeze everything in.
Plus having an excuse to drink every Wednesday.
Well, I mean, that's just a given. But we're going to move on to our final. Did you have anything else you want to add?
No.
Good?
That,
all right.
blew
I mean,
blew
Six
my
Piece
mind with
Nug
that.
pretty much blew the doors off the everything. So now I got more to think about tonight.
So
moving on to the final topic of the evening, 30 coins. We are now on episodes 5 and 6, and things are getting cray-cray, but I want to get your thoughts first about what you think of the last couple episodes of 30 coins.
So the one prior to the one we just watched this week really tapped into that H.P. Lovecraft feeling again.
Oh,
and that kind of like space horror and stuff like that.
Yep.
You're seeing Father
Vergara.
Yeah, excuse me. He's out trying to find answers. He's kind of out really trying to dive deep, but he's got quite an expedition going on and quite an adventure
Yes,
going
he
on
does.
because he's really opened up a fucking beast of a thing with the players involved,
Yep.
the actual
Fabio and all those guys.
all the stuff with the Cardinals, everything going on with it, and how deep the story runs, and who's really trying to, the true evil, or however you want to look at it, empower, the thirst for power. I guess not anything necessarily specific for me to get into, just that I'm really enjoying the show. The story is my only critique on it, and maybe this is something because of the fact that this is to us a foreign TV show. They really tap into that soap opera drama sometimes
Very
with
much,
the love
yep.
triangle and stuff like that. I will say that the sex scenes, the gratuitous,
Elena is falling back.
very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Borat, very nice.
Very
Very
nice.
nice. Very nice. I'm a big fan. It's good. I just got to make sure I throw that out there. But, this last episode really kind of continued. And these last episodes don't feel like overall, like a lot of the story is pushed forward.
Right.
But they actually kind of had. And have and the scenario with the coin and everything and coming back and all that stuff is very intriguing.
Yep.
Like I'm really enjoying this show. Like I this is one of those things for me that I don't watch a lot of horror stuff until recently, later in life, outside of like some slasher films. This is a show that calls to me because I love the fantasy take on some of the biblical stuff.
Sure.
Which, I mean, you can
Absolutely.
we can either way you want to split that one. But I like what's going on with the horror mix and everything like that, and what they've done with it. I'm enjoying the show. I look forward to it every Monday. The pacing is a little slow right now, and I think we're getting, because we've got 2 episodes left, I believe it is.
I think it is. Yep.
I think we're gonna get to there too, where it's really gonna start getting ratcheted. And there was some really cool scenes. The scene where she's in the supermarket this last episode, I thought was really cool.
The dream sequence. Yep.
Yep. I thought that was really great. The 3 ladies that are, I want to know more of the backstory and what's going on with that, but I think they're more like spiders at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that. I thought that was a neat take.
Yep.
The stuff going on. Paco is a very intriguing character. But the stuff that's going on with him and Elena in some way is also very like noon soap opera, Young and the Restless kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
That said, and that's fine. That's just probably because we're not used to that kind of intake. But man, oh man, like I'm enjoying it. I don't know what it is about it. Like every time I'm watching it, I'm really engaged into it. I'm hooked. I want to see what's going to happen next, regardless of how slow or fast that burn is.
Right.
So,
yeah, no, I feel like the last 2 episodes have been, I don't want to say, they haven't been as impactful as the first 4. Because we're focusing on the main story arc surrounding the coins and Father Vergara and Paco and Elena all working together. That synergy between those 3 is very, very good. But the last 2 episodes, they're trying to kind of explore the individual story arcs of Father Vergara and Elena with Roku, and Paco and Murch, his wife. And I feel like it's mixed results. Father Vergara, I think his story arc is more important than the other 2 simply because it has to do with the protagonist. It has to do with Fabio, and it has to do with that cardinal of like that group of just like they're on the other side and they're wielding all these different powers, and you can tell you're focusing on the bad guys with Father Vergara's story arc.
Yeah,
when
which
you
is where you want to know.
Yeah, that's really what you want to look at. But then you got Paco and Murch. They're focusing on Paco at home without, obviously, Elena's kind of out and about. Father Vergara's gone. And you're kind of stuck with this Father or Paco and Murch, this marriage drama. And, the way I look at it, man, outside of the husband and wife, nobody fucking cares about what's going on with a married couple.
These storylines that they're doing currently should have been done sooner, in my
sooner
thought.
And shorter.
Yes.
It should have been just brief, like, cool, yeah, they're not happy with each other, cool,
because
whatever.
they've been building this for episodes. We know where we can see it coming.
Yeah, you have these first 4 episodes are so fast and so much going on and so intense, and now you're kind of slowing things down a bit. And you look at Elena. Honestly, the last 2 episodes has just been her nude everywhere and sex, which isn't a bad thing. But it takes away from the Elena we've seen in the first 4 episodes.
Yeah, which is this very commanding.
She's she's in
Yeah.
control of everything, and and again, it goes back to the synergy of Father Vergara and Paco and Elena. When they're all together, that's when the story's really going.
Yeah,
I feel like when you split them up and they're exploring these different story arcs, you have mixed results. Because Father Vergara stuff is really good. It's all touching on that spiritual stuff, the religious stuff, the magic, and all
the
this
true story of it.
the true story is him. But the other 2 spots, you're just like, okay, this is just kind of like whatever. It's filler stuff. And these are basically setup episodes for what's coming, because obviously 7 and 8 are going to be the big hitters. But the last episode I felt was stronger simply because of the dream sequence. I love dream sequences. I love when games or movies or TV shows or anything explores like dream sequences where things are like kind of not what they seem. I love that shit. I love that out of body experience and stuff like that. But now the other thing, part of that is obviously in this dream sequence, we again see just how powerful Fabio is, because he appears in the dream sequence at the end of it. He's just like, hey, there he is. And like, God damn, this dude's everywhere. He has all the abilities. I'm at that point now where I realize that Fabio and this group of like whatever they are, they're very powerful stuff. Why are they out recruiting like senior citizens to do stuff? Why can't they just use these powers to just, what I'm saying? I mean, they're proving to be very powerful people.
Right.
Why is this such a difficult task for them to get the final?
I got a feeling that might end up being explained.
I really hope it is, because it's just really bizarre that, and again, I love the dream sequence, and there's a lot of cool stuff in this last episode I feel is really interesting, but with the weird pacing and some of the weird story arcs, the dream sequence, I think it oversold how powerful these guys are, and why can't they just get the coin back?
I wonder if it's trying to be like regardless if they could do it themselves, they don't need to be recognized because they're the face of their own religion or leadership.
Yeah, I mean that's
I don't know.
And if it's not explained, that's gonna hit. That's gonna dock some points because you need that kind of. You're gonna need that. These guys are clearly powerful people. These guys can do just about fucking anything they want.
Yeah,
and they're just unable to do that. But overall, I mean, these last 2 episodes, they weren't bad. They just were kind of slowed down from what we saw in the first 4 episodes. Now, these are clearly, again, if you watch TV series before the 2 final episodes, the last final episode, it's all build up. It's setting the table for the finale. Hopefully we can get these 3 together again, Father Vergara, Elena, and Paco, and get back to the main story. I feel like Father Vergara stuff is explaining stuff enough where you're like, okay, cool, yeah, we get it. They're badasses. Father Vergara's teetering. Does he believe in God? Because he had that whole scene down in the pit where he's just like, I used to believe in you all the time, but now that I see all the suffering, I wonder. He's teetering. He's on the verge of like giving up everything. But get them back together. Let's finish strong. These last 2 episodes haven't been as strong as the first 4, but I'm still digging the show because, like you said, some of the horror elements, the Lovecraftian elements, the monsters, the visuals are still very strong and still very unsettling.
The story is very strong. It's just been slow.
Yep. It's definitely slowed down a little bit. Let's see if it picks up for the final 2 episodes. I can't believe we're down to the last 2 on that.
Pretty exciting.
Crazy. It's pretty crazy.
Good series.
But so far strong. Tricky seems to agree. He says, he's thinking the same thing. Tricky said, for me, it seems like they could end Paco, Elena, and Father Viet at any time, but guess it's God's plan. Okay. Like I said, if they can explain this stuff, why they've been toying with them the whole time, I think about, they feed off of suffering, they feed off all that stuff. Maybe this is what, they're seeing Elena suffer, they're seeing Father Vergara suffer, they're seeing Paco suffer. Maybe that's part of the plan. Weaken them with suffrage and then going for the kill after the fact. That's the only thing I can think of that makes sense there. So it kind of ties into what they're doing. So
yeah,
it's kind of like Supernatural. God is writing the script. Tricky throwing knowledge out there, man. I love Tricky. Tricky's a good dude.
Dropping bombs.
But we went a little crazy. Went hard deep there. That's gonna do it for this week's show, man.
Is it?
I think it is.
I think it is.
But seriously, first of all, big shout out to A6 Piece Nug. Thank you so much for calling in, sharing your perspective, because you got me thinking about shit.
Yep.
Everyone that tuned in tonight, we had some new follows. We appreciate that. We had some new subs. We appreciate that
Thanks
as
for
well.
All the sub drops.
You guys are awesome. Prime
everybody.
Danik, thank you so much for that gifted sub, man. That's really, really just kind of you. Everyone that tuned in tonight, just looked a picture of Elena. Might need to watch this just for her. She is she's very easy on the eyes. She's a very lovely lady. Big fan. But Tone, that's gonna do it for tonight's show, man. You got anything you want to add?
Don't forget to check out TheDude79 this Friday for his stream. I may get to something small this Thursday or Saturday.
He will.
There's some potential stuff going on this weekend. Watch those social medias and keep in the Discord too.
Boom.
Bash that Discord over there. If you have not joined the Discord, please get in the Discord with us. Hang out. And if you're a subscriber and linked to Twitch with your Discord, don't forget to do that.
Yeah, link it up.
You have the ability to sometime get on the show with us and chat to us about one of our topics as well. And honestly, the last thing we always do, you guys have been always great to us. We appreciate it. Word of mouth of Hughes is huge for us.
Yep.
If you see us on Twitter, Facebook, wherever, or a family, friend, member, anybody you think might enjoy us, please send one of the links to YouTube or our VODs here. Share us with them. Show your excitement, because we just want to grow. And because of you guys,
grow with people that are like you guys and girls, the people that appreciate nerdy shit and love talking about games, movies, and TV shows. Josh, God of War will probably start Monday night.
That's
probably when we'll start God of War. High probability of that. Last but not least, we're going to close out the show, but you get to hear another track from Ant House Beats, Music Therapy 2, releasing soon. Can't tell you when. He won't tell me. He's a stinker like that. He's like, I'm not going to tell you. But I'm hyped about it. It's great music. I love this track. Vibe with me. Ant House Beats. Follow him everywhere. Guy's talented as hell. For Fanboytone, I'm TheDude79. Thank you so much for watching Banter and Babble. We will see you next Wednesday. Have a great night.